What's up, brothers? And welcome back to another episode of Toad Talk Podcast. This is episode 8. Yes, I had to double fact check myself, but yes, episode 8. That means we've done 8 of these now.
We can count.
Yes, we can count. We can do it. And we just got hot off the heels of watching WrestleMania. And so we have a lot to talk about there a little bit later. Actually, more specifically, these two guys watched more WrestleMania. But I kind of dipped in and out a little bit. But yeah, we'll be talking about that later on in our sports section. But I hope everyone's having a good one. Thank you, everyone, for continuing your support on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We really appreciate all the support and the outgoing of feedback that we've gotten through our Discord and our community as well. Thank you, listeners out there. We appreciate you all very much. We've got a lot to talk about this week. Not only just WrestleMania, but we got the NBA playoffs have started. We got another big, wild moment today in NASCAR. We also have a few games and movies we're going to take a look at. And of course, the thing that most of you really enjoy, the CPW report, since Croakitoad Pro Wrestling is back on track again. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming in and listening to us again. And we will also be giving out that Pragmata game that we've been talking about for the past 7 episodes. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for the announcement of the winner coming up in here in just a second. But before we get into any of that, let me just introduce our panel for this week. And we have the returning Raji. Okay, Jeremy, he is back. I asked Grem and I said, shall we bring him back? And Grem said,
I said podcast, baby.
No.
And I said, my bad. And we also have Grem / Zazarus is here as well. We missed him last week.
Yeah, I'm back this week though. Very, very happy to be back.
I heard you were in the middle of middle of a concert, so you couldn't join us last week.
There's a mixture of that and other things, but yes, concert.
Right. Okay.
No.
I wasn't gonna say it. All right. Well, we are gonna move on to. Should we do the game giveaway now or do it after Bring Your Own News?
Well, that is my Bring My Own News.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go right into Bring Your Own News then. I will start things off. We will be celebrating today and remembering the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing that took place in 1995 at the Alfred P. Murray Federal Building in OKC. 168 people lost their lives, men, women, and children. They had a daycare in the building as well. I personally remember this, and I've told this story a few times. The morning that this happened, I believe it was 9:01 in the morning is when the bomb went off. 9:03. I was in middle school sitting in the principal's office. I had gotten in trouble for telling, well, it was 95, so DX wasn't out yet. I think I had gotten in trouble for like wrestling around with other friends or whatever. And so they sent me to the principal's office. So I was sitting in there waiting in line to go in there and get scolded out. And I remember, next thing I remember, I'm like looking up and teachers are running around hysterically and the principal leaves the office. And then suddenly one of the secretary or whatever comes over and says, look, you guys need to call your parents. School is over for today. Have your parents come pick you up. And that's what I remember about that. And I went home and realized, as a kid, this was 95. So I would have been 10 years old. I just remember like thinking like, how could someone like blow up a building randomly like this? So crazy. So many people lost their lives that went into work that morning and had no idea that this was going to happen. And in fact, between me and my dad, we actually know a few people personally that actually lost their lives in this tragedy. And it's just really sad because obviously we're not going to get into the politics of it or any of that because that's not what this podcast is about. But people were trying to make a statement and they did it in the absolute wrong way and just terrible tragedy. And the fact that the kids had a daycare in there and they lost their lives or anyone really for that matter, it's really terrible and a really bad mark in Oklahoma history. And the memorial up there, the tribute is super awesome. It's really nice. They've done a great job in making sure people remember that horrible tragedy in 1995. And if you ever get a chance to come through Oklahoma City, I always tell people there's 3 things you should probably check out if you're on your way through. The first is the Cowboy National Museum, which is really amazing in OKC. Also, the Boardwalk in Bricktown is really awesome. And also the Murray Building, the bomb building memorial in OKC. It's really amazing and really, they've done a really good job in making sure that tradition, that legacy, and the tribute, the memorial stands for everyone to see and remember the people that lost their lives. So, terrible tragedy, but we're going to move on. That's what I wanted to bring to light on the anniversary of that. And we'll send it over to Raji. I guess he's going to talk about finally the Pragmata game giveaway.
Well, let's go to Grim. So we'll end the news on the giveaway.
Okay.
I guess you just didn't want to follow up on that one.
Nope. So now it's your turn.
Yay. Okay. So I might not get a chance to really talk about this in terms of like particularly a game 7, but again, the NHL playoffs have started. And I know we're going to talk about it, but one thing I want to bring to the podcaster table is, again, if you're not a hockey fan or never really watched a game, I will always tell anyone that will listen, please, if there is a game 7 in any of these matchups, please watch it. Even if you don't have a team to root for, it is still very fun. It's still amazing to watch, and the game 7s in NHL playoffs are just out of this world. So, I guess because I don't know if we'll ever get it where there's like a game 7 when we're doing the podcast. So I figured I'd bring it to the podcast again for everyone to hear that. Again, if you're not a hockey fan, or if you just want to watch something that's sports related and you want to give hockey a chance, definitely a game 7. It doesn't have to be the best teams. Game 7s are always crazy to watch.
Nice. I admittedly have never really gotten into hockey, but I really would like to. Also, real quick before you get to the game giveaway, it's kind of touching on the same note. I never really got into NASCAR before we started playing the NASCAR games and we started talking about it on this podcast. Is that too much to reveal to you? Am I a terrible human being for saying that?
No. I think even funny enough, I remember NASCAR when Dale Earnhardt died in 2001, which, let's be honest, 2001 was a terrible year for America. The loss of Dale and then 9/11 in the same year.
And we lost WCW.
We started the year crappy. We got towards fall crappy, and then right after we lost WCW, 9/11 happened. So it was a horrible year for Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that, but I don't remember getting into NASCAR until like the Jimmy Johnson domination era. If anybody remembers, like the 5 or 7 in a row championship win. I remember getting into it, and then I kind of took a break, and then recently got into it the year COVID hit. That was my first year back to watching it full time every week. So
nice. Okay, it is time. It's finally here. Oh, it's here. Let's talk about that Pragmata game giveaway.
All right. Well, first, I just want to thank everybody that's listened to the podcast and knows how to follow directions, because I did shout out. Tad did kind of mention that it could be on any video, but I did say to go comment on episode 4, the hashtag, and everyone did it. We had 14 entries to this giveaway. I did a lot of testing RNG on this wheel to make sure I had the most fair wheel spin I could find. I even psyched these guys out. I made them think I actually did the drawing earlier, but we're going to do it live right here while I announce our next giveaway while the wheel spins. Earlier today, we spun the wheel. Grim was around when I did this. We spun the wheel to decide what game was going to be given away next. Okay. And it came down to 3 games to give away, and that was Forza Horizon, the new 007 First Light game, or Bubsy 4D. I threw Bubsy in there for the lulz because Tad loves Bubsy. It's a community special. So we spun the wheel, and the wheel gods have spoken, and Bubsy 4D will be your giveaway next month. Woo! And so for the hashtag of the Bubsy 4D giveaway, anytime from this video until the giveaway video, if you put a hashtag Toad giveaway 2 with the number 2 at the end, you'll be entered to win a copy of Bubsy 4D, and the same thing will apply. You can ask for the specific platform and either a physical copy. I think they're going to have physical copies. If they don't, I apologize, or a digital code. And our winner of the giveaway of Pragmata is at F4 Spencer on YouTube, beating out at Pedrito Carlitos, which is above him, and at Camusun, that was below him. So he split the difference, and the arrow landed on at F4 Spencer. Congratulations. I will reach out to you via YouTube or any means to see what kind of copy you want for Pragmata.
No, that's not going to be, yes, round of applause. That's not Fuse 4 Spence, do you think? Is it? F4 Spencer?
It might be. Let me, you know what?
Probably is, to be honest with you. If it's not, that's very wild.
That is wild, yeah.
Let me go look right quick at his profile right quick.
While you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and say thank you to everyone that applied for the giveaway. I was over here thinking that people were dropping those comments off on all of our different episodes on YouTube. And I was like constantly telling these guys, I was like, check all the different YouTubes because we're getting comments on all of these to enter the giveaway. But come to find out, all of you guys listened to instructions. You all listened exactly to what you needed to do. And you even bypassed me because what I was saying wasn't even the original rules. So that is wild that you all listened straight to Raji and went straight to that specific episode to enter into the giveaway for Pragmata. So congratulations to all of our listeners. We know that all of you are very smart and very intelligent. After that, I am very impressed.
I'm gonna assume that this might be Fuse for Spence because the account was created back in 2011.
Okay. Well, we will reach out to Fuse 4 Spence and see if that is him. One of us will. Otherwise, F4 Spencer, if you're listening to this episode, you won a copy of Pragmata. Please reach out to us on this YouTube episode, reply back and tag Croakitoad, and we'll get with you somehow to get you your copy of the game, if that is not Fuse 4 Spence. And you also said that this specific episode for Bubsy 40, they need to reply to this episode, or
No, this episode, from this episode onward until we give the game away, which will be in the middle of next month. So you're gonna have plenty of time to get your comments in. Every comment you leave per video is an entry. So if you go, I'm changing it up. So every comment you leave on video is an extra entry, an extra spot on the wheel for your name. So if
starting with this one.
So if there's 5 episodes and you enter 5 times, that's 5 spots that you get. Now, when I get the list of people, I take the whole list and I repeat them in the list of people. So your 5 spots could turn into 30 spots compared to maybe 5 spots for one person.
Nice.
There you go.
And so you can enter into every episode that you listen to, whether it be here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. We'll be checking all 3, and you can enter until that giveaway takes place, which is, you said 5 episodes from now?
No, it's I will have more details on that next week, but just go ahead and start leaving your comments starting with this episode, and I will have a specific date of the giveaway on next week's episode.
Okay. And the hashtag is, what is it again?
Hashtag Toad Giveaway 2, the number 2 at the end of that. Okay. Toad Giveaway 2.
Hashtag Toad Giveaway, the number 2, Toad Giveaway 2. Drop them in the comments. Drop it like it's hot on every episode from here on out until the giveaway takes place. Every time you drop it as a comment on multiple platforms, by the way, you can do it on YouTube, and then you can do it over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and get 3 entries. So drop them like it's hot. Toad Giveaway 2 for a chance to win Bubsy 4D. I already pre-ordered and purchased my copy, so I unfortunately cannot enter this giveaway. But
well, that's okay.
That's okay. I'm all the same, still looking forward to hanging out with one of my favorite game characters, Mr. Bubsy. All right. That being said, we've got 3 video games we're going to take a look at here on this week's episode. We've got a quick one here, and I'll never skip a chance to talk about a few games in my immediate circle of games that I love. One of them is You could say Power Wash Simulator would be up there. Resident Evil would be another one. Phasmophobia is definitely in that closed circuit of games I cannot miss talking about. If there's something coming out for it, Peak is another one, obviously. But we have some news from Phasmophobia, actually, and it's going to be a crossover event. You don't really hear about this a whole lot with the world of Phasmophobia, but apparently Kinetic Games is going to be teaming up with Alan Wake and for a little special event here for Ghost Hunters to check out in the game of Phasmophobia. I'll definitely be participating in this. Can't wait to check it out. And we're going to take a look at the trailer here for the first time.
Everywhere the investigator looked, there were signs of two worlds colliding. Glimpses into a mystery, clues that teased, out-of-place objects and signs, yet nothing that revealed it fully. This was a story told somewhere else, where the pages of the manuscript had been written, from where the writer of the story was desperately reaching for the light. And with that act, he was threatening to spill out the darkness of his prison. A writer by the name of Alan Wake.
Very cool. And as we see on the trailer here, Phasmophobia X Alan Wake 2 free event in Phasmophobia starting May 12th. Obviously, you can get on PS5, PlayStation VR 2, Xbox Series X, and of course, Steam. And wow, the first thing I think of is I know a special shout out of a person out there who I know that loves both of these games equally. And her name is Monica Denizen. She absolutely loves playing Phasmo, and she's absolutely the biggest Alan Wake fan I know. So she is probably riding high right now, seeing two of her favorite things come together in this special event starting May 12th. This looks awesome. And like I said, you don't really see Phasmo really collaborating with other franchises or anything a whole lot. So this is actually kind of big news for Phasmo and the Kinetic team. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. They didn't really show off a whole lot of like what you can get in terms of like the items and cosmetics or whatever. They just kind of show a few glimpses of the levels and stuff, which looks interesting. I'll say like a carnival level or whatever, but I'll pass it over to Raji. What do you? I'm not sure if were you ever a big Phasmo guy. I'm not really sure, and if you were, does this kind of appeal to you?
I dabbled in Phasmo. I mean, back before all the cool updates happened to it, and I haven't played it since then. But I'm always down to try something new. I love Alan Wake. Haven't got to play the second one, so it'd be kind of like would be like uncharted territory for me. But it's still Phasmo, and I think I'd have a lot of fun with it.
Nice. Okay. And Grim, we played a Phasmo before together as a team. I'm not so sure if you're really up on the Alan Wake stuff, but I definitely know we've played Phasmo before. Is this something that might bring you back in if you see us streaming it together?
Yeah, I'm not much of an Alan Wake person, but yes, I like the the back and forth. Like you see the normal and then something different, like comes through. So I definitely would be doing this. I know Raji would love the bathroom area a lot. It's kind of his thing. Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean the map's so cool. The carnival reminds me a little bit of like what was it? Was it Killing Floor? It's Killing Floor 2.
Yeah.
That had that. Yeah. That kind of reminds me a little bit of that. I like the UV lights. So yeah, no, I mean it's been a while since we've played, and we've gotten a lot of fun with that game too. And I'm not really much into games that like try to spook you or scare you, but I do love playing Phasmo. So
yeah, it's definitely like one of our go-to game. Maybe not here so recently, but definitely one of our go-to games is to play with 4-player co-op. I was looking at this trailer and I couldn't help but go back like 8 seconds in and think that maybe this might be Tanglewood, but with its like own Alan Wake twist to it. But as I look closer, I think I see a few things that don't line up with that. But this kind of, at first glance, this looks like the dining room area in Tanglewood with the windows and stuff, but it's slightly different. So it's, I'm assuming not, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do on this, what they add, what they change around, and what kind of rewards and cosmetics they give on this. But yeah, if anyone out there is interested, checking out Alan Wake coming to Phasmophobia. It will be a free event from May 12th through June 2nd. And you can definitely expect us to be playing some of this on our Croakitoad content on Twitch and YouTube. So definitely check it out. All right, coming up next, our next game. This was one that was highly requested of us, and a lot of people are certainly talking about this one. This one's Tomodachi Life, and this is from the Nintendo, straight from Nintendo YouTube. And the game came out April 16th, so it's been out a few days, and everyone I've been talking to that has had some experience with this is absolutely loving this. I have to admit, I don't really know a whole lot about this, but we're going to take a look at the trailer here and enlighten myself and see what we got here.
We're back on Yumian Island. Who should we check on today? Oh, hey, it's Tara. She's a senior at Angie's college and just so cool.
Lady like this.
Like, too cool. Unbelievable. Tara makes heads turn, literally. So sparkly. I mean, let's face it.
What? Nothing.
Who wouldn't? With her fashion sense and quirky personality.
That cloud looks just like Tara.
Tara's so cool, in fact, that she can do some mean punches and kicks. Or hoof it around town. I don't know if she meant to draw a crowd, though. And in case it wasn't obvious that Tara is cool, she can also style hair with clean-cut precision. Looking good, Carlo. The residents love hanging out with Tara, and she doesn't mind one bit. Yep, Tara's a true trendsetter. Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Available April 16th on the Nintendo Switch system. Pre-orders and a demo are available now on Nintendo eShop.
What's going on? Oh, nothing.
Talk about a face-off!
Okay, interesting. At first glance, like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of dealings with Tomodachi Life before in my past, but I know a lot of people were looking forward to this and have been enjoying this so far. I have a lot of questions about this that maybe the other two on the panel here can answer, but I'll just drop them on the table here. I'm not sure. Is this like co-op? Like you can play with friends on the same island together and you're just running around doing a bunch of stuff? Or is this single player and these are all just NPCs? And do you get to like fully customize your entire island a la like Animal Crossing? Like you get to play all the houses, the shops, the trees, the gardens, the fences, everything. It's all up to your discretion how you design this and what NPCs and characters you place in the world to interact with. Kind of like The Sims, but a lot more creative. These are the questions I have because I literally have never played this before, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun for those out there that have that creative itch that they want to scratch and have been experienced previous gamers and players of the Tomodachi games there. But yeah, I'll pass it off to Raji. Maybe he can answer some of my questions here.
I can answer all your questions. This game is this is a very great game if you are bored and love like Sims, Animal Crossing. This game is 100%, almost 100% customizable. I think the businesses are a set look. You can customize the inside of the houses. I don't know if you can customize I think you can customize the exterior, but I haven't gotten that far yet in the game. All these characters that you see were made by somebody put in the game. You make every character that is on your island is made by you. Every person you put on your island, you have to create. There's an option if you're not good at creativity. There is an option to help you create but there is everybody that gets put into this island is made by you. There is a website out there for anyone who cares. It's tomodachishare.com. You can go on there and there is people uploading characters from Resident Evil, different anime, different like real world people that you can go on there and kind of like back in the day when we had to go online and get call formulas for the wrestling games, we'd have to follow the formula and make sure it matched up everything and base it off images people were uploading just for the adjustments. And it's kind of like that. So this game is a lot of fun. A lot of, it's going to test your creativity. It's going to bring the best out in you because you just want it to, you find yourself wanting it to be perfect no matter what you create. So a lot of fun, and I can see a lot of time being killed for people who hasn't had any experience with Tomodachi Life.
Real quick, do we know if this is multiplayer? Like, can you play with your friends and they can visit the
Uh,
island,
on-
or?
Only locally.
Oh,
Meaning
okay.
you have to, meaning if you were in the same area with somebody with a Switch, you could play it with them.
Oh, okay. And then my other and last question, and we'll pass it over to Grem, is there a character limit as to how many you can have on your island?
From what I've gathered and read, I keep seeing the number 70.
Whoa. Okay.
And I can't confirm nor deny 100% if that's fact or fiction.
That's cool. So you can have your own little 70-member community, give them their own houses, assign them to different jobs, I guess, each day.
So it's autonomous. So this game, even when your Switch is not on, this game is technically operating in the background. So you may go to bed with two of your Miis being friends or getting close to being married, and you could wake up the next day and that relationship is completely in the toilet. That is how autonomous this game is. You can assist things by clicking and dragging Miis to other Miis to force them to interact to increase the relationships, or you can let how would you say that word?
Just let things play out as they will.
Yeah, just let it play out. Yeah. But it is a very, very fun game. A lot of people wanted a Switch version because this came out on the 3DS long ago. I remember my first QuakeCon, one of my first QuakeCons I went to, I bought a 3DS, and this is a game I played on 3DS when it finally came out, and it's a time killer and it's fun.
And it says also playable on Nintendo Switch 2. Does that mean that it's available on the? Okay, so it's available on the original Switch.
This came out as an original. This was advertised, came out as an original Switch game, not a Switch 2 game, but it is playable on the Switch 2.
Nice. Okay. Well, we're going to finally pass it over to Grem. What are your thoughts? Are you going to create a whole island and civilization in town based on nothing but Ninja Turtles?
I mean, I could, but maybe I don't know. I do.
The yellow turtle.
Maybe the yellow turtle will finally show up. I'll give him a name and everything. Free demo is available. That's pretty cool. Like, I might do that. I know my wife has been playing the game a lot more than I have, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like Fallout or Fallout Shelter, except you don't really have any like quests to do or anything like that. So it's kind of neat. Oh, there's a frog person. I didn't even see that in the beginning, but there's one right there for you. So I mean, I sometimes don't really get into the sim games as much. Like sim sports, I like a lot more than just like sim with people. But you know, I probably give the demo a shot just to kind of see what it's all about. Maybe it'll hook me.
And I also want to point out that there were several spottings in this game of our favorite resident extraterrestrial Glitnermine. So
yeah, it was blue over to the side. Yeah.
Yep.
I do want to touch on that. I don't think I brought this up. Everything on your island, there's a beach. Like, you could take your whole island. You can get rid of the beach completely. So it's not like Animal Crossing where all the terraforming and the customization is locked behind a wall. I mean, it kind of is, but everything is customizable. You could go buy different pallets, different items you can place on your island, from trees to lampposts to like stoplights, even though there's no cars in the game. So you can like get rid of the water, like the beach and water area. I mean, there'll still be water surrounding the whole thing, but or you can make it a really small island if you just wanted to have two Miis and surrounded by water. You can do anything. It's your imagination is your limitation.
That's really cool. And that's right up my alley. So I'll definitely have to take a look at this. Now, one last question before we move on. If you do buy this for the Nintendo Switch 1, which I do have, will you be able to carry this over to the Nintendo Switch 2 once you eventually get that? Or is it like a separate purchase for those of us that still only have the Switch 1.
If you buy it digitally, I think obviously if you buy it physical, it's going to work. If you buy it digitally, as long as you log that account into your Switch 2, you should have all access to all your Switch 1 games. And I think 90% of them are compatible with Switch 2, 99% of them. So yes, you'll be able to play your digital copy of Tomodachi Life on Switch 2 when you eventually get one.
Awesome. Okay. Because I know there's a lot of people out there just like me that don't quite have a Switch 2 yet, but we do have a Switch, and all these new cool games are coming out that are like for the Nintendo Switch, and it's nice to know that they cross over like that. Of course, all of us gamers are used to no crossover. So thank you, Nintendo.
Thanks, Grand Theft Auto.
All right, moving on. This is our last game trailer we're going to take a look at. It's a little bit on the longer side, but it was a big reveal over the weekend. Lots of people were really clamoring for this one as well. I know a few people around this community were really interested in this one, and I think they revealed this on the was it a specific I don't know if it was like an Xbox something or other over the weekend, but regardless, Metro 2039. We got a reveal trailer here. It was dropped on April 16th, so we'll take a look at this.
I ask you, do you want to come out of the darkness and become a pure nation? I ask you, are you ready for great changes under the guidance of a great leader? If you are, then wake up and open the door for the noble right. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up. Wake up to a pure nation, clean air, bright future. The noble right says comply. The people say aye. No. Fear not the enemy's threats, for the Führer hunter protects you.
Where are they taking them? Can you hear me?
They do. We hear everything. But you don't let them speak.
No. It's not about me. I won't ask again.
It's all about you.
All together now, children.
The noble is our home. Either we destroy or we are destroyed. No one will mourn us if we die. Mercy is weakness. Our enemies have no pity for us.
No.
The enemy must be destroyed. 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 The enemy must be destroyed.
Boy, this thing's got just about everything you could want. I played the original one, and remember playing through it, going, "Okay, I'm kind of getting understanding the story here, but like, what the heck is going on here?" You got these Slenderman kind of guys that are running around, or not running around, but basically like stalking you, putting like psychological warfare onto your character. You're in the middle of Russia, Moscow, that has been completely decimated by radiation, so you can't really go out there, and there's just regular monsters running around, flying monsters, four-legged monsters trying to kill you. It's basically like a wasteland, and you're just like trying to survive, and you live in the tunnels underneath the city, and then so you got like these monsters and beasts going around trying to kill you. You've got fellow people living in the city also trying to kill you, in like more of a apocalyptic Fallout kind of a setting there on that. And then you've got, on top of all of that, you've got the radiation factor. And then on top of that, you've got these like Slender Man aliens that are like putting mind games on you and making you see things. And so you've got like all kinds of different aspects of horror rolled up into one in the Metro series, whether it be survival horror or monsters, psychological horror. You got just about everything in this. And the graphics on this looks really great. This makes me want to play all the other ones so I can get all caught up on this franchise, and maybe that's where I'm kind of missing some of the blanks on this, but it definitely looks good. I can't wait to try it out, and it looks like it will be releasing this winter 2026, and I can see why a lot of people were really anticipating this, because the trailer, they even showed a little bit of gameplay there for a second. Looks really good. I think they've done a good job with this at this point in time, and I can't wait to definitely try this out, play it, stream it, do the whole 9 yards on this. But I definitely want to play the other ones and get caught up for sure, like Metro Last Light and all those other ones. But yeah, Raji, do you have any experience with the Metro franchise, and does this look pretty good to you?
I don't. I have the Redux versions of them that I have yet to play. But watching the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a really huge psychological game, just from the vibes I'm getting from the trailer, and that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I really love the graphics from the in-game footage from the FPS perspective. Looks really good, really creepy, and I just feel like it's going to be one of those games that I really enjoy. So I agree with you on that. Grim, what are your thoughts on Metro 2039? Pretty creepy, huh?
Yeah, it looks pretty creepy. It looks good. The like you were kind of alluding to beforehand, like the story is very like mixed up and have to kind of go through it. I'm just as confused as watching the trailer than I was even about knowing the game itself. So, yeah, I guess it's one of those things where, like I said, if you play it, you kind of start getting to know the story a bit better. But gameplay wise, I mean, with gameplay footage at the very end there, looks really, really good.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. Like, either when it comes to gamers, either you're a big fan of Metro and you know all the games, you know the lore, you know the story, you know everything, and you're like super excited, or you've never played any of the Metro games and you see these and you're like, yeah, they look kind of cool, but I literally have no idea what's going on. It's either one or the other when it comes to Metro, and I'm trying to get out of one category and move over to the other one, but I have a lot of other games to play before I can actually, be one of those that actually knows what's going on. But it's certainly from an outsider perspective, which was all three of us, I think the graphics look great, and the FPS in-game footage looks really, really fun. So this will definitely be on my radar. I just have a little bit of catching up to do on some of the games in the series. Okay, well, that'll wrap up our video gaming block for this week. We've got 3 movies we're going to check out. One of these I know that my panel here is super excited for. We'll actually save that one for last, because that's going to be a big one. The big one. But coming up first, we've got a movie called Passenger. And The trailer was released 5 days ago as of the recording of this podcast. Take a look at this, see what it's all about. If it's good, bad, but it is called Passenger. Let's see.
Make it quick. Dude, give me 1 minute. Yo. Daniel? Oh, no way.
I saw these on the car last night. 3 scratches just like that.
You didn't stop, did you? It's something unholy.
Something's following us.
Saint Christopher, protect me today. All my time. Give us your warning signs. If danger is near. Danger is near. Danger is near.
No one outruns a passenger.
Well, Graham, what do you think? No one outruns the passenger. It looks pretty creepy. Makes me definitely not want to stop and pull over to. Not that I've actually ever done that before in my life, actually, but I certainly don't want to ever pick somebody up off the side of the road because, yeah, scary things will happen. I know, once again, this isn't quite your cup of tea, but from an outsider perspective, do you have anything to add to this, or is this kind of like, too spooky? Let's move on.
I mean, it definitely looks a lot spookier than the movie Nope. It had me scared until that catchphrase, "No one outruns the passenger," and I'll be honest, I kind of like snickered a little bit. Like I was like, "Really? Like we're going with this as the catchphrase for the movie? Like this is a horror movie."
Nope.
A lot of nope. A lot of creepy elements though. I know, kind of bouncing around a little bit. The Jeep scene where you're kind of like they're driving through the field with all the bodies that are covered and everything. I think that was kind of unique. It puts you in like a little perspective too, especially like in the first scene as well when they're like, dude, like give me a minute kind of deal, and he comes back and like everything, like the person is gone. Like I thought about it myself. I was thinking to myself, like, what if I was like the passenger, right? And someone was waiting on me, and all of a sudden they just disappeared. Like, do you just sit there and like wait at that point, like he kind of did? Like, I was trying to put myself in that kind of like position, like shoes, and like, okay, well, hopefully, the person that I'm riding with doesn't just come through the windshield all bloody. But again, horror is not really my cup of tea when it comes to movies. But there was a lot of elements that I saw in this movie that I was like, you know what, this could be kind of like, prying a little bit on what real life instances could happen, and what would transpire, or what you would do during those, the things. Now, obviously, the passenger showing up like 3 or 4 times when you're driving is not going to really happen. in real life. But there was a couple of really good like scary spots in this movie. So I mean, if you like scary movies, this is probably going to be a really good one.
I would also like to point out that in the trailer, it says last year, over 130 million people took road trips. 15,400 of them were never seen again. It makes me think that if Coke and Roxas ever took a road trip to come to QuakeCon, would they be one of the 15,000 that were never seen again?
Yeah. Could it be both? Could it be one of them? I don't know.
Maybe Roxas is the passenger.
Oh, maybe a loud one at that.
Oh yes, you'll definitely know he's coming.
Yep.
Not the jump scare about that. You'll hear him coming a mile away.
Yep.
All right, well that's Passenger, trailer release April 14th. I'm just reading the comments. Funny comments. All right, but yeah, that's Passenger. I don't think they didn't have a release date on that, did they? Oh yeah, May 22nd. May 22nd. This seems like a fun little movie we'd watch in the Discord one night and just see how it goes, whether it's good or bad. But yeah,
I'll keep outrun it.
Yeah, maybe we can outrun the Passenger. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, we'll keep one eye on that one, and we'll let you know if we on a future podcast if we watch this and give our thoughts on it. All right, moving on from one scary movie to another one. This one I definitely know a lot about. This one's we're back to the Insidious series again, and boy, do I love me my Insidious. Shall I say, tiptoe through the tulips? Oh yeah, love me some Insidious. Here we go, another movie. Will it stand out with some of the other movies in this franchise, or is this just another one to grab some cash because of the title? Let's find out. Let's take a look at the trailer and see what we got here.
How are you doing today? All right. Just gonna take a look inside. Looks like there's something stuck in here. Dad, ever since she was born, it's been just the two of us.
Hi.
Hi. We were really happy. Had some sleep. Until I started having these dreams. Maya? I'm scaring my daughter. I need someone to tell me how to stop this.
Those are not dreams, Gemma. You have a rare gift. The ability to travel into the realm between this world and the next one. But you can do something I didn't know was possible. You can bring demons back to the human world permanently.
What happens if I can't control this? Maya? Maya?
Oh man, that's awesome. Coming soon. No release date on it yet. Oh man, that's awesome. They brought back so many references from some of the earlier games, and I believe Lynn Shay, the older lady that's basically been in every single one of these. I actually heard that this was actually going to be her last one that she's going to be a part of. Just a spoiler alert to those that have never seen the Insidious movie, she actually her character actually died at the beginning, I believe, of the second one. But apparently she's going to be able to talk to the main character through the other, which is like kind of the spiritual realm where all these demons and ghosts hang out at, as opposed to the real world where we're all living and stuff. But you know, at first I was like, oh man, here we go, another Insidious eye roll. But after watching this trailer, I have to say I was getting really amped up for this, especially they brought back the Tiny Tim Tulips song. Those who know me and know the community know I'm a sucker for that song, really love it. And the scares in this looks really good, actually. I definitely want to go see this. But then again, I'm a huge horror movie buff. If you haven't known by now by listening and watching to our podcast, most of the movies I bring to the table are horror movies. So Insidious is definitely up there as one of my faves, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. The ghosts look amazing, the demons, and I don't want to know. I don't want to call something and be wrong on this, but I have a tendency of just calling my shot out on this podcast. I have to say there's a moment in this Insidious Out of the Further trailer where there's a close-up zoom-out shot of a character with red eyes, and oh my god, I would almost say that this is the main character from the first two. His name's not coming to the tip of my tongue right now, but he's the guy that is also in the Conjuring movies, the main character there too. But I would almost say that they were going to just by looking at this, I'm probably way off the mark, but they could even bring him back because his story kind of ends weirdly at the end of the second movie as well. They could probably bring him back as a ghost / demon, either good or bad in this movie, just as a throwback. I wish I could remember that actor's name, but I can't right now. But yeah, this looks really cool. This is definitely on my list to go watch. It says in cinemas August 20th. So there you go. August 20th for the new Insidious coming out in about 4 months. Wow. This is definitely on my list. Grem, once again, another horror movie. What do you think about this one?
Yeah. Kind of weird. Right at the end, was her thumb the flashlight? Was I seeing that right? Like when she was in there, it looked like her thumb was the flashlight, which is very, very odd.
Maybe she's like holding a mini light.
That's what I thought too, but like, I don't know. And there's Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah, right.
But it looks like. I mean, it looks like her fingers. Maybe it's just an actual. I don't know. It looked very
like a stick
weird
light or something, or maybe an ET finger light.
Maybe she tried to phone home.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had its scary moments, though. Like that one. Yeah, definitely not my cup of tea. But yeah, you're right. It did have its moments, and hopefully it's not like you said in the beginning, like a cash grab kind of deal, that they're actually going to, really try to get you to like get scared. The woman with the shotgun in the car was kind of a nice little like creepy touch. Just like smiling and then like, okay, well, here we go. So yeah, and of course it scared me half to death with the dentist in the beginning because I'm not a huge fan of dentists. So
the teeth, the teeth inside the teeth.
Well, it wasn't so much that, it was just the dentist in general. But yeah, the teeth within the teeth. I was thinking like aliens for a moment there. I was like, huh. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it definitely looks pretty scary. And as long as you can kind of, I guess, determine which is the real world and which one isn't, kind of deal during the movie, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I will definitely be. This is definitely on my radar. I will definitely be watching this. And I have to say, I keep on this podcast, I keep saying, yeah, I'm going to go watch this. I'm going to go watch this. I haven't had time to go watch any of the things I've been talking about, but I'm definitely going to try to make it my one of my top goals this week, actually, to try to tackle all these movies that have come out that we've reviewed or previewed, I should say, here on the podcast so far in the first 7 episodes, and come back and give my thoughts on them, on some of these movies that have actually come out. Specifically, at the top of the list, the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get your popcorn ready. You're going to be busy.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll pop them in on Discord one of these nights as well. By the way,
maybe
you didn't have a chance to go see that, did you?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I think Raji was like the only one.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we'll do a Super Mario Galaxy movie night this week.
All right.
All right, we have one more movie to talk about, and then we'll be getting into our sports block. This one, I feel like both of my panel members will have at least something to talk about. I mean, everybody has seen the original Spaceballs. If you've not seen the original Spaceballs, are you even a human being living on planet Earth? I mean, come on. And the news that has been coming out for a long time about a sequel. I mean, they even teased a sequel in the original movie, and that came out in what, the 80s, something like that.
Yeah, that's about right.
They teased a sequel in the original movie, and now it's finally going to happen in 2026. Here we go. Trailer for Spaceballs 2, the new one, not the big one, but the new one.
Nearly 40 years ago, a promise was made.
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2 to search for more money. Money, you know?
Hold it. Wait a minute. It's me, Mel Brooks. I have a major announcement. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, is not going to be the title of this movie. Why not? Because after all these years, I found the money. There it is, the money. It was in my basement. But everywhere I go, people say, Mel, where's the new Spaceballs? When are you gonna make the new Spaceballs? When are you gonna make the new one? Well, we did it. And the title is Spaceballs, the new one. It's just like the old one, but it's newer. That's why it's called the new one. There you have it. I'll see you at the movies, and may the Schwartz be with you.
Spaceballs, the new one, April 23rd. I love that. I still think they should have kept the original, The Search for More Money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the new one is pretty funny, too, because it's just Spaceballs. It's the new one. Spaceballs 2, the new one. Oh man, who has so many moments from the original movie, so many fun moments. The comb in the desert comes to mind, the surrounded by assholes moment. Oh my, the jamming the radar. Oh my God, there's so many to list. Huge fan of Spaceballs. Can't wait to check this out. And they've got theaters on April 23rd. So we are literally days away from the release of this.
No, you're not. 2027.
Oh,
It got me too. It got me when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like days away. And I was like, oh wait, 27.
Oh my God, that actually got me because I was like, all I saw was April 23rd. I'm like, dang, we're in April 19th right now.
Yeah.
And then, so we got to wait a whole year. Okay.
Yes.
Well, at least we have something to look forward to in the year 2027 now.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I am definitely going to go see this. I know my dad will definitely want to go see this. He always has loved Spaceballs. I mean, everyone loves freaking space. If you don't love the original Spaceballs, what the heck is wrong with you? This is going to be fun. And obviously, one of the biggest news about this is Rick Moranis is coming back to reprise his role. And so that's a big thing about the movie as well. Raji, did you ever watch the original Spaceballs? And if you didn't, what kind of alien are you?
It's funny. I have a funny story about Spaceballs. I remember being younger. Obviously, it came out before I was born, but I remember being younger and was really into Star Wars. And I remember asking my dad if we could watch Star Wars, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we could watch Star Wars." And he puts this on. And I was watching it thinking, wow, this is a really weird Star Wars. I've never seen this one before. And it took me years. I think by the time I got in middle school, I realized that it wasn't actually Star Wars. It was Spaceballs. And so that's my fond memory of Spaceballs.
Oh, dang. I got one more before I pass it to Grem. One more moment from the movie. Because I just thought of it. The little I don't know what they call them in the movie, but the little things that they're out and they're going
Are they like the dinks or something?
The dinks, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Graham, I know you have been super excited ever since you heard the news of this. What are your thoughts?
I can't wait. I have, ironically enough, which is funny, Spaceballs to me is probably like a personal favorite of mine. Like when I watched it and saw the parodies and everything, I was like, oh my gosh, comedy for me is like gold. I love it. I have Spaceballs, the book. somewhere. I'm excited for it. It's a little. I don't know what I want to. I don't know how I want to kind of put this with, but with John Candy obviously no longer with us, it's gonna be unique because he was Barf, and you said Rick Moranis revising his role. Obviously, a guy who has decided not to do really too much acting anymore, and for him to actually be like, you know what, I'm gonna come back for this role is very special. So it's gonna be funny with the amount of space themed movies that have happened between the first Spaceballs and now, not only just Star Wars and Star Trek, but among others, obviously. They're gonna, I hope, pick it apart. And all I'm just hoping for is just a good laugh. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that we don't really get too much with movies anymore, where they're just trying to like make fun of different little things. It's usually pretty serious or scary or something of that nature, which are fine. Don't get me wrong, but I do love the comedy, so I'm very excited. I'm glad that they found the money, and
in his basement.
There's no more in his basement. I mean, it's typical Mel Brooks, but I've seen a lot of Mel Brooks's films, so I'm very excited for this one. I never thought it was going to happen. I'll be honest with you. It was probably what in the 2000s at that point. Like I was just like, well, they're never making a second one, but hey, I still have the first one. It's a good run. But yeah, it should be really good. It just sucks that we have to wait an entire year for this.
Yeah.
But it gets me excited throughout this year, though, in the whole 1 year span, on just seeing a little bit more, like when they do a little bit here and there to promote the movie. I'm sure Bill Pullman's going to be in there.
Oh yeah.
You said Rick Moranis. I don't know who played the princess. I don't remember her name, sadly, but maybe she will be in the movie. I don't know if she's still acting, if something has happened to her or anything like that. So I apologize. I didn't do my research on that. But some of the heavy hitters will be there. So definitely going to be wanting to see this ASAP.
Well, I have one character in mind that I am hoping is back in Spaceballs, the new one. That's from the original movie, and that's and I'm surprised you didn't bring him up either, because he hits close to home for you as well. But I am wondering about good old Pizza the Hut.
Pizza's coming out for you. Yeah, I mean, Pizza Hut might be back. I mean, who knows? Like, yeah, I kind of forgot about Pizza Hut.
How can you forget about Pizza the Hut?
That was such a creepy get up too. Like it's like oozing off of him, like
yes,
the pepperoni and everything.
Cheese, yeah,
the cheese. Yep. Oh man.
I just want to. I don't know if you touched on this. I probably zoned out. I guess this is Rick Moranis' first on-screen role since 1997.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. We mentioned that he's coming back. Yeah, he took a little hiatus there. Hiatus is kind of a loose word there.
I mean, he's just playing with his action figures or dolls again. I mean,
yeah. Well, he was surrounded by assholes. He had to take a break.
I mean, ludicrous speed. Go.
Yeah. All right. Well, Spaceballs, the new one, coming out almost a year from today. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes and ears and pizzas honed in on that one. Definitely going to watch that. But that'll wrap up our movie block for this week. We're going to move on over to sports. And we had another big, exciting, thrilling race earlier today as of the recording of this podcast. And guess who won today? Out of nowhere, a big surprise coming in first place to win the race tonight. We had Kyle Busch, who was formerly number 27, winning today's race and putting him all the way up to the top of the ratings. Tyler Reddick, forget about it. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, nah. Ty Gibbs, nah, he's so last year. Kyle Busch winning, nah, who am I kidding? It was Tyler Reddick again. 5, count them, 5 now. What the heck is going on with Tyler Reddick? Nobody would have ever predicted this, that he would win 5 on this Cup season. What is going on, Raji, with Tyler Reddick?
Well, I mean, it didn't come without drama. Let me tell you, Denny Hamlin led 131 of 267 laps of this race, and honestly, it looked like Denny Hamlin had this race won, until lap 266. They were almost to the white flag when good old Cody Ware spun out in turn 4, all the way back in 37th position to bring out a caution, sending it to overtime. And for those who don't know why there's an overtime, if the lead person in the lead does not see the white flag and there's a caution, it goes into an overtime period, 2-lap overtime, where they have to get around the track at least one time, see the white flag before a caution come out to end the race. If a caution comes out for the white flag, again, it's another overtime lap. If they see the white flag, over the next caution flag ends the race. So that's where we're at. So going into pit strategy, all the lead cars went into the pits. Denny Hamlin tried to take a gamble because he wanted to keep the lead and only took 2 tires. On the restart, Denny Hamlin was on the inside lane. Tyler Reddick was on the outside. Kyle Larson goes 3 wide and took the lead going inside of both Hamlin and Reddick taking the lead. Tyler Reddick made contact with Christopher Bell. It caused Christopher Bell to brush the outside wall. Bell immediately slows down. I think it broke a toe link from the impact. Kyle Larson maintains his advantage, and they're going to the white flag. And they get the white flag, and it came down to the last turn where Tyler Reddick makes his pass last second and wins this race by 0.118 seconds to take his 5th win in 9 races of the year.
I know that's like, wow, any other multiverse, it would have never happened. But the sheer fact that Tyler Reddick was in that position to begin with, having done already what everything he's done so far, is really impressive. And then to just go ahead and win it on top of that, it's just the cherry on top.
Go ahead. What's more impressive is people are like, "Well, Tyler Reddick must be a great racer." No, I don't want to take away from what he's accomplished. But when you hear what I'm about to say on paper, you're going to be like, wow, he is very lucky. He's always in the right place at the right time. So Tyler Reddick leads the standings, 9 races, 5 wins. He's only led 199 laps. Denny Hamlin, who's in second place, 105 points behind Tyler Reddick with only 1 win in 9 races, has led 575 laps. Kyle Larson, who's in 5th, 143 points behind Tyler Reddick, has led 499 laps.
And no wins.
3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, 1 DNF. So, back in the day, if anybody remembers, laps led mattered a lot. It could come down to where the last race of the year, there would be a situation where this person had to lead this many laps to secure the championship. That's all they had to do. Game over, GG. You lead 3 laps, you're the champion. Boom. So this new format, I don't know if, it's still stage racing, so stage points do matter. Wins do matter, like your positions. I just don't think lap sled has a heavy weight like it did back in the day. And so that's why we see Tyler Reddick top of the standings with just 199 laps led in the whole season.
Yeah, back in the day, what it was if you led the most laps, you would get an additional points. If you led a lap, you would also get points as well. But I think you led the most laps, you got additional points. And that's where that comes into play, where it's important to lead the most laps. He's Tyler Reddick's doing it a little backwards, where he's not really, leading the most laps, but he's getting the wins, So I think this point system is more based off of, wins. And to be fair, it should be. I mean, if you win a race, you should get the most points and so on. So it shouldn't be the most laps led. He's still racing around the same amount of laps as the leaders are. He's just not leading during those. You know what I mean? So I think that's why that doesn't matter nearly as much. But back in the day, yeah, most laps led would give you extra points, and if you had led even just one lap, you would get additional points, and that could not only help in like points in terms like first, second, third, and everything, but it also helped those lower cars as well, because at the end of the year you get X amount of money. And in the point standings, something like that, where 5 points, 10 points could really matter to them, could make or break, for them to be there next year. So back in the day, it was very, very crucial to at least lead a lap, just because you never know if those extra points were going to matter.
Yeah. And so with that, our standings, our biggest movers of the week. So I think I'm going to start doing this every week on the biggest movers of the standings. Jumping 3 spots is the 34 car of Todd Gilliland. Jumps up 3 spots from 26th to 23rd. He finished in the top 10, I believe, today to get him that 3 spot. Let me fact check myself here. I lied. He did not finish. He's finished 17th, so he finished top 20 to give him a little boost. Our biggest drop of the week is who has already been mentioned. The number 8 car of Kyle Busch dropped 3 spots.
Okay.
He is now 27th in the standings at 133 points. He is 324 points behind Tyler Reddick. So
there's still plenty of races left, Mr. Bush.
Yeah, this is race number 9. The chase doesn't begin until after race 26. So they got to figure something out. Owner wise, 2311 Racing is at the top of the owner standings, followed by Joe Gibbs Racing. So Denny Hamlin team is number 1, and the team that Denny Hamlin races for is number 2. And then the manufacturer obviously is Toyota with 7 wins on the season, 1 win by Chevy and 1 win by Ford. So it has been a Toyota season so far.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you just mentioned earlier that Talladega is next weekend.
Yes, so we're going to preview the schedule the next couple of weeks. We have the Jack Links 500 live from Talladega next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Then we have the Worth 400 presented by Liqui Moly at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas, the week after that. Go Bowling at the Glen. Shout out Coke Soda Can. He loves these kind of courses. I don't. Kappa. Watkins Glen International in New York. That's a 100-lap race. That just tells you how long that track is. Then we have the All-Star race at Dover on May 17th. And that'll be on FS1. And then we switch over to the NBC Amazon Prime TNT stretch after that. Just going to Charlotte, the classic race after All-Star. We all love Charlotte. I love Charlotte. The Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that'll be the May 24th, and to end May is the Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville, and that is your May schedule. So,
do you think that if Tyler Reddick wins Talladega, he gets another first place in Talladega this weekend on Sunday? Do you think that no matter what, he's confirmed? He's like in.
I honestly think I don't know. There's still a lot of races. I mean, that only being race number 10, there's still 16 more races they have to get through. Anything can happen. I would say, yeah, maybe he's confirmed in the chase at this point.
What'd you call that? Like a clinch? He's basically got it clinched at this rate. If he can win Talladega next week,
a spot in the chase, yes. If he wins Talladega, I think no matter what happens, the rest of the next 16 races, I believe he'll at least have a spot in the top 16. I believe it's top 16, if I remember correctly. That is in the chase after 26 races. But yes, I think he will have a spot after race 26.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee that he's going to win any other race. But if he wins any other race, I mean, he could win Watkins Glen for all we know, or Dover, or whatever. But that would certainly help him in the right direction for sure. That is pretty wild. Tyler Reddick just coming in out of nowhere like that, pulling off that lucky streak. This is definitely his season. We'll see. Have to see what else happens though.
If we look at the standings and we take away Tyler Reddick, let's say Tyler Reddick doesn't exist, and we put Denny Hamlin at first place at 352, the margin between first and second place is only 15 points, with Denny Hamlin at 352, Ryan Blaney at 337, Ty Gibbs 319. So
that is pretty tight.
So put Tyler Reddick back in there, all of a sudden it's a 105-point margin. So I think no matter what happens, I think Tyler Reddick will be in that top 16 whenever that time comes, just because of how big of a gap he's established from his 5 wins in 9 races.
Well, you know what? I know we give our good buddy KB a lot of crap. So from this point forwards, I'm hoping he does well and he actually makes it. He gets a spot.
This is actually his last year.
Is it?
His contract year is up at RCR this year, and the speculation is that he will not be coming back to RCR next year. And people are hoping, Kyle Busch fans, I can't speak for all of them, but I've spoke to a few, is hoping that 2311 will open up a third car and Kyle Busch will go back to Toyota and race for 2311.
Ooh, interesting. Does Michael Jordan want him? That is the question.
Not sure.
Or are we going to get the Michael Jordan sad face meme?
We'll probably get the Michael Jordan sad face meme and the Kyle Busch baby rage.
Yeah, together, side by side.
Yes.
All right, well, that's your NASCAR wrap up. We'll be back again next week to talk about Talladega and see what happens there. If Tyler Reddick's going to get another big one there, or if Kyle Busch is going to come out on top and win Talladega this year. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. The 2026 playoffs has officially begun. We had the play-in games took place, and now we know how the brackets are all panned out. Of course, my Oklahoma City Thunder already have 1 win over the Suns, 8 seed with the play-in. So they're looking good already, but there's still a lot more games to go. I know everyone last week or the week before, we talked about the NBA. The Spurs came up and how close they were win-loss record-wise to the Thunder. So that's definitely a team to look out for. I have to say, the Denver.
Mm-hmm.
My dad thinks Denver is the sleeper in this whole thing, which is an interesting take. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess they're already one up over the T-Wolves, so that'd be fun to see if the Denver Nuggets actually were the sleeper in the entire thing.
Was it Denver last season that took on the Thunder in the conference finals?
I don't know off the top of my head, but that might be the reason why he says that they're kind of the sleeper going into this whole thing too.
I have it right here, and it was semifinals. They OKC beat the Nuggets in the conference semifinals in Game 7.
Yeah,
go on to play the Minnesota Timberwolves, which the Thunder absolutely demolished.
That's right. Okay.
I do remember the T-Wolves game, yeah. But maybe that's why he's saying the Nuggets are going to be kind of the sleeper going into this.
Last year they were the 4 seed. They are the 3 seed this year, so they would be in the position of the Timberwolves, which is funny because the Timberwolves is the same seed as they were last year at the 6th seed. Whenever they made it to the conference finals against OKC. So could we have a repeat? But can we touch on the play-in tournament right quick before we get into the actual playoffs?
Sure.
So I didn't want to interject, but we had some crazy moments in the play-in games. The Heat played the Hornets, and that game actually went to overtime and was absolutely physical back and forth. I don't know what the name is of the Ball family member there. Graham, if you could help me with that one on the Hornets.
Oh,
is it
LaMelo? Yeah,
LaMelo. LaMelo Ball came up clutch. A lot of controversy behind it, thinking that he should have been tossed for a trip.
Yes,
he did get fined for it, I believe, by the NBA. But the Hornets would take that game and eliminate the Heat from being able to get into the playoffs, 127-126 in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
The Trailblazers beat the Suns 114-110. So that would send them to a that was in the West. The following day, the 76ers beat the Magic 109-97. Unfortunately for the Magic, that meant they had to play. They would end up having to play the number 1 seed in the East, which is Detroit. The Warriors would go on to beat the Clippers 126-121, and that would eliminate the Clippers completely from contention. So then Magic plays the Hornets again, or the Magic plays Hornets because loser of that match, the winner of the 8, 9, 10 seed had to play the loser of the next game to see who gets in. Magic survives, and that's why they play the Pistons. And then the Suns survive by beating the Warriors 111-96, and that's why they're playing the OKC Thunder. And now we are at the end, the last game of the first, the last game 1 of the first round just ended with the Spurs beating the Trailblazers 111-98, I believe. Yeah, 111-98. So I don't know if it's already updated for you because that game just ended literally moments ago. So San Antonio is up 1-0.
So it's funny with the play-in game, real quickly too, is it gives the teams that finished 9th and 10th a chance to make the playoffs. And this year, the 7 and 8 seeds all went on through, so it didn't really change anything. Usually in years past, like a 9 could sneak in to be like the 8 seed, but both the 7 and 8 teams that finished 7th and 8th in their conference did move on, so nothing really too crazy except for that Charlotte Hornets Miami Heat game.
Yeah, and that was a 9-10 matchup. So, yeah. But
who were you?
Your OKC takes game 1, and just the way they played, I'm telling you, dude, it might come down to them and the Spurs. Just the way they both these teams play tonight. I feel sorry for everybody else.
Yeah, and I agree with you because the Spurs. I was looking at that win-loss record they had going into this playoff bracket, and they were like only a couple of games behind the Thunder in terms of. And I think you brought it to our attention last week or maybe the week before that the Spurs had actually defeated the Thunder in a game on the regular season.
They're actually, I believe, when I looked at it, they were 4-1 against OKC in the regular season.
Okay, well there you go.
I will say
you told me I didn't have to bring it up.
And, right, yeah.
I will say though the Spurs probably will have a much tougher road than the Thunder will. The winner of the Lakers and Rockets. I mean, I don't think OKC is going to have an issue either way. And like your dad was saying, the Nuggets being a kind of a surprise dark horse, they could really push probably the Spurs to a game 7, and it could be the Nuggets and Spurs at that point. And a fresh Thunder's team is going to be pretty deadly. I mean, they're already deadly as it is. So you never know how it's going to play out, but I feel like the Thunder pretty much a lock for at least the conference finals for sure.
So are we more?
I will point this out right quick. The Nuggets are 1-3 against OKC in the regular season today or this year. However, they are also undefeated against the I'm sorry. They're 3-1 against the San Antonio Spurs. Their only loss coming by only 3 points against the Spurs.
Yeah, I feel like that could be like a game 7 conference semis.
So I don't know. This is gonna be one of the wild. I think this is gonna be a wild finals. Just based on the teams that are the 1-2 seeds that are both deserving of the 1 seed and the 3 seed even having dominance over the 2. It's just weird. It's gonna be weird. I think there's gonna be a lot of game 7s in this playoffs, and like Grim said earlier about NHL, I'll say about basketball. If you've never watched basketball, watch playoffs and watch Game 7. You're going to see some physicality.
So are we mostly like looking at the Western hemisphere on this thing, going like, okay, Thunder, obviously, Nuggets, sleeper, Spurs, probably on the same slightly level as the Thunder. Then we look over on the Eastern side and we're like, yeah, is that how we're feeling?
No.
Well, I mean, we know your Knicks are over there.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So
not
no,
that we're
not
biased or anything like that.
Oh yeah, spending about 10 minutes on the Thunder over here. Okay, my bad.
You mean the number 1 seed Thunder?
Yeah, and
last year's champions Thunder.
Yeah, because they didn't go against the Knicks. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Sorry. The Knicks did play Oklahoma City twice, and they lost both times. So
yeah, that's okay. It's the regular season. It doesn't matter. Playoffs, you start at 0-0.
Playoffs.
Well, even if they did get one win over Atlanta so far, I think the Knicks have more things to worry about right now than Oklahoma City, Oak City. You have to do the Atlanta Hawks first.
I will say that the Knicks are in the same position right now that they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. Well, they are the 3 seed, and they played in the conference finals last year against Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers, and ended up losing 4-2.
Yep, we won't have that problem this year, though. He was too busy being at Mania.
But also last year, the Knicks opened their playoffs against the Pistons, who were a 6 seed last year, and took that series 4-2.
Mm-hmm. Which we could probably do again if the Pistons make it to the finals, which is fine.
It is crazy that if just putting this year's playoffs to last year's playoffs, just some of the similarities, like the Knicks are the 3 seed, the Celtics were the 2 seed last year, they're 2 seed this year. Thunder, obviously, 1 seed last year, 1 seed this year. Lakers. Oh, sorry, they're not. They're a 4 seed this year. They're a 3 seed last year. The T-Wolves, 6 seed last year, 6 seed this year.
Where were the Spurs last year?
You're funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they even made the playoffs, right?
I don't think they did. I don't really. I'd have to look. I can't even see the play-in tournament. To be honest with you.
Wow. So they made some big changes then from last season. Being serious, you know.
Yeah. Let me go check right quick. That's a good point to bring up.
Ironically enough, the Spurs were pretty big in what I want to say 2000s, like with
yeah, I know you're
Admiral and everything. Yeah, I'm just, and then there was another guy too. I'm drawing. Tim Duncan. That was it.
That's it.
You know, I mean, so and it's good to see the Spurs back. I guess
the Spurs did not make it as they finished their year 34-48.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
they were almost dead last in the Western Conference.
They definitely changed something since last year.
Yeah.
It could also be like rookies finally kind of getting it too. And now they're sophomore season, things like that. I mean, Spurs are really good at drafting.
You want to talk about big turnarounds? Let's talk about the Hornets. Obviously they were in the play-in tournament and they just came up short. They came up short, but if you look at last year, they were 19-63 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge turnaround. And then obviously the biggest eyesore right now is the missing Indiana Pacers, who obviously
they all had free tickets to WrestleMania. Okay.
Yeah, they obviously missed. They obviously missed the memo that they're not supposed to be the Charlotte Hornets because they finished with the Charlotte Hornet record this year that Charlotte finished with last year, 19-63. So,
wow, they had a great weekend in Vegas this weekend.
I'm rooting obviously for OKC. It's the closest team to me. I'm not doing it because Tad's doing it. They're the closest NBA team to me, and that's who I'm rooting for. So,
well, I'm rooting for the Toronto Raptors, number 5 seed on the East, and I hope they make it. They haven't been a great team since Vince Carter, I think his name was, back in the 90s.
The Raptors just won an NBA championship not too long ago.
What are you talking about? But please continue. I'm all ears for
Oh
this.
no, I'm sorry. I meant the Atlanta Hawks. That's who I was talking about.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. When's the last time they won an NBA championship, huh? Wise guys?
Oh, you want to know the last time they won an NBA championship?
Yeah. Tell me.
1958 is their only one.
Well, there you go. I'm going for the Atlanta Hawks, and especially
good luck with that.
especially they'll beat the Knicks out in the first round.
Good luck with that. All right, good luck. Good luck.
I think that'd be a great game. Oklahoma City Oak Thunder against Atlanta Hawks. Let's do it.
I'm
Finals.
glad you're picking the Atlanta Hawks because that worked out well for you in the NCAA tournament when you picked two teams. So I mean, hey, it's great.
Well, you know what? It's not my fault that McNeese versus Hofstra was the sleeper final that no one else ever picked in the rest of the world.
Yep.
At least I'm special by that regard.
Yeah.
And you know what? Next year I'll pick it again. Well, actually, they have to make the
Yeah,
tournament.
they have to make it.
Oh, okay.
Well, now that you said that, they're going to have a horrible year. Now the one's going to make the tournament.
Damn it.
Then we're going to be like, oh no, it's the Croakitoad curse.
Dang it.
Damn it. I'm not Croakihausen.
Damn it. Code Talk podcast.
Well, speaking of Croakihausen, well, let's go into our WWE news. We've got a lot about that to talk about, and we're going to kick things off first before we even get to WrestleMania. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame for this year that took place on, what was it, Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night after SmackDown.
Friday night after SmackDown, and I'll just go through the list real quick, and if you have anything to add at the end, we'll go ahead and do that. But this year's class, for the actual individual class for wrestlers / talent, was Stephanie McMahon and AJ Styles got entered in. As a group / tag team / stable, we had Demolition with Axe and Smash. And I'm really curious. I don't know if either of you actually watched the Hall of Fame or not, or just snippets. I did not watch either, really, other than the Rodman one, kind of. But I'm wondering if anyone or Bill Eadie brought up the whole his hair was nice at Survivor Series 90 at all during his speech. You can let me know after. But that's a fun meme if you're not aware of that. In the celebrity wing for this year, we had my good old boy from the NWO, New World Order, Dennis Rodman, being added in to the celebrity wing. I think that's cool. I mean, if you look at all the other celebrities that are already added in, it's not really a far stretch that Dennis Rodman would be added to it, considering his contributions during the height and the peak of wrestling. Looking at some of the other people already entered, you're like, what? At least Dennis Rodman actually makes sense. That's my take on it anyway. And I might be just a little bit biased because NWO. And then, of course, the legacy part, which are wrestlers that passed away that are being posthumously being added, was Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown. There was a little bit of controversy with Sid Vicious, aka Psycho Sid, being added in. And I think Raji might touch on that a little bit as compared to other posthumous inductions, like, for example, Paul Bearer and Vader in the past. And then the Immortal Moment, aka I guess this is like a new match category for Hall of Fame. They added in Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome, and the son Nick Hogan, the son of Hulk Hogan, and then Robin Rosamoff, the daughter of Andre the Giant, were there to accept that, which is a cool thing. But yeah, I'll pass it over to Raji. Do you have any thoughts about Stephanie McMahon? No, there's like Stephanie McMahon, really? And then the Bill Eadie thing with the hair, and then Rodman's induction was a little wild, made a little headlines there. And then, of course, the Sid thing.
I understand why Stephanie got it. I mean, you just call it nepotism all you want. It's just she did provide a lot during the Attitude Era, which may not have been a lot in some people's eyes. She did win the WWF Women's Championship, as much as people don't want to remember that, Tad. But she had her. I mean, she brought a lot of heat to storylines. I mean, if you look at her with the Triple H Jericho feud, or any other, like even Triple H Vince, the very start of the Vince McMahon feud before they full blown turned Stephanie heel and put her with Triple H. I don't know if anybody remembers Armageddon '99, that match. Just she brought so much to the stories, emotionally and psychologically with her mind games that she would play. So I understand why they gave it to her. I'm glad other people got inducted before her. So there's that. AJ, there's some controversy with the wrestling community that they think John Cena should have got inducted before AJ. I have no comment there. I think they're both deserving. AJ had a much longer and more notable career than Cena. You can look back at AJ's indies and recognize his work. The only time I recognized Cena's indie work was through an A&E documentary about XPW when he was a prototype. Other than that, you don't see really much of his indie work until he got into WWE. I didn't catch the Demolition induction. Dennis Rodman ended his induction speech on with a Hulk Hogan impression. And then we get to Sid Vicious. And his son is, well, to say the least, pissed. I mean, he thought the whole thing was straight up disappointing and disrespectful as hell because there was zero merch in the Hall of Fame gift shop for Sid Vicious. He didn't mention Bad News Brown or anybody else, but he did say that it was loaded with a bunch of Dennis Rodman merch, and it was a very quick video package to honor them as their induction. When in years past, for instance, Vader, Paul Bearer, they had family members come up, give a speech, and accept the award on the how do you say that word, posthumously, however you say it, on their behalf. And we didn't get that this year. We just got a video package. He, yay, clap for them, and then we move straight on from there. So, I don't like that move. I think if they have family that are willing to show up, accept the award, make a speech, that they should be allowed to do that. That's their loved one. They made significant contributions to wrestling, and they deserve that time. And then, of course, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Graham or Tad, I think this is only the second year they've done the inducting a match. If I remember correctly, last year it was Bret Hart, Stone Cold from Mania 13 that was inducted into the Immortal Moment wing. So I think this is only the second time they've done that, right?
As far as I remember, yes, and I remember it mostly because Bret Hart was looking at Triple H like he was crazy.
Yeah.
When he was trying to shake his hand on stage.
Okay. Yeah. So and that was, I didn't get to see that. But this is the second time that Andre is in the Hall of Fame. 1993 was his first induction shortly after he passed. So
well deserved.
Well deserved. And of course, WrestleMania 3, the iconic match now it might not be a banger of a match, but it's very memorable for everyone knows the scoop slam at the end. So
Yep. Okay. So Grim, what did you think about this year's Hall of Fame class? Was it kind of or
I mean, judging by kind of the people inducted, it kind of was. And I know we kind of, I think Raji was bringing up the whole AJ Styles or John Cena, who should be inducted. I don't think it matters who gets inducted first. I think ultimately, though, it's who, I guess, leads in a way. And it was nice for, like AJ to have this year. I mean, because next year, let's be honest, like next year should be just full blown John Cena, right? So, he'll be the face of 2027's Hall of Fame, where it's him and then everyone else kind of behind him. I'll say I do like the group Hall of Fames as well, just because when it comes to tag teams, sometimes it doesn't work out where they both become single Hall of Fame superstars or wrestlers. But as a tag team, if they showed a lot of dominance, they should be recognized for that. So I do like that, and I hope they do kind of do more of the immortal moments. I'm pretty sure they will down the line. It just makes a whole lot of sense. I remember, WrestleMania 3, the hype on that and everything. I remember as a kid, kind of like hearing about like the rumblings and, oh my gosh, did you see Hulk do the unthinkable and blah blah blah. So for that being the immortal moment this year, definitely was. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of Hulk and Andre, so that was a win for me.
Well, people forget that back then Andre had been a good guy up to that point. He'd been a face, and then he ripped the shirt off of Hogan on Piper's Pit, and that's when he turned heel and he turned his back on Hogan. And then Bobby Heenan was in the middle of it, and so that was the big buildup for that. Was a lot of obviously in the territories and stuff. Andre was here, flip here, there, whatever. But in terms of like a nationwide audience in front of all the kids and stuff on this kind of platform, he was the big evil giant person that turned on Hulkamania, and that gave Hulk Hogan such a giant boost as a babyface, taking the evil giant down that got brainwashed by Bobby Heenan at that time, and that's what led to that WrestleMania 3 match.
Mm-hmm.
And also during this time, and I don't want to bring up like bad stuff or behind the scenes stuff, but recently I learned that Andre wasn't in great health leading up to that match. He was starting to have really bad back problems, knee problems, and I'm sure you can go on there and look at the documentary, but no one knew how this was going to go down until match time. They like people say Hogan didn't know. People say Hogan knew the entire time, like Andre would do business, but the one thing that they were worried about was letting Hogan slam him. And Hogan said that in the middle of the match, Andre called it slam, and that's what created the iconic moment. Even with a bad back, Andre didn't want to take that moment from Hulk Hogan, and that's what made that whole thing iconic.
And another little fun fact about that is that actually wasn't the first time that Hogan had slammed him. He had actually slammed him previously, not on the nationwide stage as WrestleMania, but he had actually slammed him before. That's a little fun fact I learned about through, I believe, Jim Cornette.
I believe it happened before Hulkamania was a thing.
Yeah,
correct.
I want to. I can't remember the event, but yeah, I really believe. Shout out to good old Jim Cornette, but I was listening to him and he talked about how Hogan had slammed Andre before the WrestleMania 3. But yeah,
Showdown at Shea.
There you go.
In New York City, and Hogan was actually heel and Andre was face. This was back in 1980, 7 years prior to the iconic slam heard around the world.
There you go. Also, one more thing I wanted to touch up on the Hall of Fame class. You were talking about AJ Styles versus John Cena going in, and how AJ Styles had such a longer career in terms of wrestling. It's funny. A few years ago, I was doing a complete playthrough of every single episode of WCW Nitro from Mall of America '95 to the tearjerker last episode in Panama City 2001. And it's funny to go back and see the very tail end of WCW, and you got AJ Styles and Air Paris in there as a tag team. But even before they had actual wrestling matches, there at the very end of WCW, AJ Styles and Air Paris were actually plants in a crowd during a storyline that I believe involved Jeff Jarrett and somebody else. And he had a hat on, a baseball hat on, and he was like in the crowd in the backstage area, and he was like annoying, I believe it was Jeff Jarrett. He was like annoying him, tugging on his shirt and like, acting like a crazy fan. And I believe he either gave him a guitar shot or he like just punched him and laid him out. And that was AJ Styles. Basically one of the first times I ever saw him on WCW Nitro. So that goes to show just how far back AJ Styles does go, being on an episode of Nitro.
Yep.
And of course, he was teaming with Air Paris in that WCW Cruiserweight Tag Tournament that they did before they went under. So, who goes in first? I I'm like Grem. I don't really care.
The horrible thing about the whole thing, right, is yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just don't. We found out usually in years past, we didn't find out who was going into the Hall of Fame until like after Royal Rumble. Starting after Royal Rumble, that's when we started getting the rumors, and then we would start getting confirmation about who's going in around March, like weeks leading up to it. This year, we found out back in September that Stephanie was going in, and then back in February, right after his retirement match, we found out AJ was going in, and then we found out everyone else in the just a few weeks leading up to Mania. And it's kind of fun to go back to, it would be fun to go back to that where we don't know until a few weeks before, and then we're just like, oh, wonder who the headliner is going to be. But they kind of spoiled it because those the first two they announced was the headliners, because everyone else they announced, and I'm not trying to take away from anybody, but everyone they announced, you're just like, well, that's not the headliner. Well, obviously it's AJ and Stephanie. But I want to go back to the time where they just announce them closer to Mania instead of well in advance like they did this year.
I think that works better. Yeah. Keeps people on their toes, wondering who's going to be.
Yeah.
If you throw it out there too early, then it's like, oh, okay. Not a surprise anymore. All right. Well, that was the Friday Night Hall of Fame. I'm going to just briefly I'll go over night one. And if you have any thoughts, then we'll do that. And then we'll go to night two to wrap up this. Night one for WrestleMania. This was 42. I had to look to double check. WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Second year in a row it's been in Vegas. Night one, April 18th. We had the Usos and LA Knight defeating Logan Paul and Austin Theory with IShow Speed in a 6-man tag match to kick off WrestleMania. 7 minutes. And we had actually, I think it was last week's podcast here, we covered the whole, or maybe it's 2 weeks ago, LA Knight showing up on IShow Speed's YouTube stream and attacking them through there, and how I thought it was cool how WWE is integrating storylines into live streaming, because that's kind of something that we all can relate to as being streamers and gamers and stuff. So that was kind of cool. But they kicked things off with that 6-man tag match, and I know you'll cover what happened after that. Second match was Jacob Fatu defeating Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match, 14 minutes long. Third match was a fatal 4-way tag match for the WWE Women's title. Big surprise here on this one. Big return for a lot of people. I guess Nikki Bella is out with an injury of some sort or something, and they came out and said, I've got a replacement, and here comes Paige coming back from her time in AEW. She teams up with Brie Bella to win the tag team belts over Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who were the champions, and then Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and of course Bayley and Lyra Valkyria in a 4-way tag match. So Paige is back in WWE and has a belt around her waist. After that, we had a singles match for the women's Intercontinental title. 8 minutes in, we had Becky Lynch defeating AJ Lee, the champion, to become the Intercontinental champion. So AJ Lee's time as IC champ is over. And then match number 5 saw Gunther defeating Seth Rollins by a submission. 18-minute long match between these two. Match 6 saw Liv Morgan defeating Stephanie Vakir for the women's title in 7 minutes. Very short match for a match of this caliber. Of course, Liv Morgan was the Royal Rumble winner earlier this year. We watched it on Discord. I said all along, and even on this podcast, that the roles should have been reversed. It should have been Raquel Rodriguez winning and Liv Morgan being the side piece for this feud. I think a Raquel Rodriguez versus Stephanie Vakir match would have been a lot more. I know all the Liv Morgan fans are going to hate me, and go ahead, do it. But I'll die on this mountain that I think Raquel Rodriguez deserves it more, and I think it would have been a much better match against Stephanie Vakir. And I'm just like over here wondering why it was only 7 minutes. That's kind of strange, but I didn't watch WrestleMania. Maybe these other guys can enlighten me on that. But the main event for night 1 was Cody Rhodes, the WWE title champion, defeating Randy Orton. We had all the madness with Pat McAfee. We had Jelly Roll in there with a table with Pat McAfee crunching him, and then Randy Orton's going crazy and just RKO and beating the hell out of everybody, and Cody Rhodes is bleeding. and that was 22 minutes long. Cody Rhodes retains the belt, and I believe that if my assumption were correct, I think they may be leading up to some kind of tag match: Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton, Pat McAfee. It could be wrong on that, but yeah, that was night one. Pass over, Raji. What are your thoughts on any of these matches?
Yeah, I was going to quickly touch each one. I Show Speed had a great post-match segment where the Vision turned on him, or mostly Logan Paul turned on him, and was going to put him through a table. The Usos and LA Knight made the save, and then I Show Speed got on top of the ring post, not the top rope, but the ring post, and launched himself and took out and went through Logan Paul at the table in a great post-match segment. The Jacob Fatu Drew McIntyre match, the one thing I noticed was before the match started, I think right before Drew made his entrance, I don't know if anyone else caught it, Jacob Fatu went up to the referee, talked, and then walked away emotional. He was biting his wrist, trying to contain his emotions, but he was obviously emotional. I don't know if it was because this was a big moment for him, because he competed at WrestleMania last year. So I don't know if he thought this was a bigger moment for him this year, but he was definitely emotional. Match number 3, I feel so bad for Nikki Bella. Great for Paige. The news about Paige kind of broke way before WrestleMania. I think it was confirmed she had re-signed with WWE like middle of the week, so people were obviously assuming she'd be Nikki Bella's replacement. But I feel so horrible for Nikki not being able to get this moment, but still a great thing for Paige. Becky Lynch AJ Lee match, I think, was overshadowed by this sub story that they got going on with the referee Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch. They kind of had more of a focus on that than they did AJ. But AJ did confirm after this night that she's going to take some time off. She'll be gone for a while. It's not permanent, but she said she'll be back. She just doesn't know when. Gunther Seth Rollins, typical Gunther match. A lot of powerhouse. I mean, it was a slugfest. It was a good match, but obviously, very obvious booking. Braun Breaker comes back, costs Seth Rollins the match because he passes out from a sleeper. That's why it's a technical submission. Setting up for that big feud that should have been at Mania. Whatever. Meh. Liv Morgan and Stephanie Bakir absolutely got robbed of airtime. 7 minutes was way too short for these two women. They were putting on a banger of a match and then abruptly ended. Raquel and Roxanne came out, assisted, and it went straight into a finish, which I thought was really rushed. And then when I realized how long the match went, I was like, wow, that they were having a banger of a match in that short of a time. They could have went longer. They should have went longer, honestly. Because I think they had a more stellar match than the main event itself, because the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match was overshadowed by the horrible booking of Pat McAfee being involved. Randy Orton just don't get me started. I don't know if Graham feels the same. I don't know if you feel the same, Tad, but I think Pat McAfee was not needed at all for the story. Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He has voices in his head. We look back at 2009 Randy Orton. He does not need a mouthpiece. He does not need a manager. I think this was just a way for Pat McAfee to let the world know that he is not coming back to commentary. He's done with wrestling, because the thing was, if Randy Orton lost, Pat McAfee would never come back to the wrestling. He would never appear on wrestling TV ever again. And that is what happened. And it was a rush finish, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. I think it was a rush finish. I don't know. Night 1, I was not impressed with at all. My favorite match probably was the last 2 matches leading up to the main event. Was the only good matches that whole night, in my opinion. I mean, if anyone else has a different opinion, let me know. But yeah, that's all I got for night 1.
I'll pass it over to Graham, and then I'll give my final thoughts on night 1.
Yeah, I feel like night 1 was, right now after seeing night 2 is the weaker of them. Nothing too crazy. Sure, Braun Breaker coming out was kind of a big deal. I'm I'm kind of with Raji real quick on the Liv Morgan and Stephanie Valkyr, only getting like not even 7 minutes. They built that feud up pretty well, actually. I thought it was probably one of the better storyline feuds heading into Mania that they had. It felt real. Now, of course, the backstage incident where Liv and Roxanne like clunked heads made it a little bit more realer, I guess, if you want to.
They included that in the video package with the sound of their noggins colliding.
Yeah, I mean it. I feel like that match should have gone a little bit longer. And don't worry about Raquel; she's gonna be fine, Tad. Don't worry.
Okay.
It'll happen. It'll happen. I did find it weird. I did find it weird though with the I Show Speed thing. Kind of getting turned on by Logan Paul and everything. I don't know why you would do that at Mania right afterward. Now, granted, I get it with Logan probably being mad that they lost and the faces doing what the faces do. It just felt a little off and weird.
Well, you have to remember now. I'm going to interject here. You have to remember this goes back to Danhausen. Danhausen cursed I Show Speed, which got him in this mess to begin with because he never wanted to be involved in this whatsoever.
Yeah,
he was
still
cool with LA
cursed.
Knight. He was still cool with LA Knight, and then this happened. He was being bullied by the Vision throughout the whole match. I don't know if you noticed the little forced tags and all that. So this was building. I don't think you have to be uncursed by Danhausen. I think just something has to happen. The curse just breaks, and I think that's what happened. Made sense to me. I think it was a great post thing. I'm not to interrupt. I was just saying that we have to remember back how we came to this point, anyways, with Danhausen, and he didn't want to be a part of it to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean he got his WrestleMania moment too. Other than that, yeah, I think everything else was okay. I mean, the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton match obviously was the big one. Sorry, didn't mean to steal that of the night, basically on night one. So,
we also I forgot. No, sorry to interrupt again. Another thing that happened on night one was Bianca Belair was announced her pregnancy.
Yes, that is true. She did. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I felt like it could have been better, but at least you had some surprises like Paige, Braun Breaker, kind of popping in basically to give you some excitement, even though we kind of had that feeling that was going to happen, at least for Braun Breaker. And some people kind of called it with Paige too. I didn't think she was going to wrestle. I did see the news that she signed a contract with WWE, but I'm like, okay, well, she's probably not going to wrestle anytime soon or anytime at all potentially. So it was kind of a neat surprise.
All right, so my thoughts on this as being just more of a casual like Twitter X YouTube clip watcher rather than a sit down and watch the show and really dive in. I mean, we watched the Rumble, and that's all my really sit down knowledge is of WWE these days. But I did catch up on some of the clips of the whole Pat McAfee thing and watching other podcasts like the Shoutout, James Romero and the Stevie Richards podcast. They were talking about how the top guy in TKO is a huge fan of Pat McAfee and actually his agent, which is funny. And that's probably the reason why Pat McAfee got this spot to begin with, as being the caller on the phone for Randy Orton, and he was the voices in his head. And that's how he got inserted into this thing, where most fans are probably like, he wasn't really needed. We could have just had Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton with no extras involved. So I think the head guy at TKO is kind of responsible for this. I forget his name because he's like in cahoots with Pat McAfee. But saying that, I know that he gave him an RKO at the end, Orton did, to McAfee, but that's not to say that the story is actually over. I mean, they do love billing SummerSlam as like these huge marquee matches featuring stuff that you wouldn't normally see. And I think that's a perfect spot to have that tag match I was talking about with Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll teaming to take on Randy Orton, Pat McAfee. I know right now it doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering what happened, but It's Pat McAfee. I mean, he could get RKO'd by Randy Orton, come back next week, and say that he was forced out of wrestling or he quit wrestling or whatever. But he could come back. He can make it work. It's Pat McAfee. Even if the fans don't like it, I mean, they're kind of locked into this mess now to begin with. I mean, what's happened has happened, and I say they just roll with it. I mean, imagine the publicity they're going to get if it is a Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee match. I mean, you're going to get ESPN's going to, I'm not going to say that they all love wrestling, but just hearing that, they're going to be like, oh my God, Pat McAfee is actually in a match with this Jelly Roll guy. I mean, that's what SummerSlam is basically built for, our matches like that. But yes, also Raquel Rodriguez, where are you? Just want to throw that out there again. And yeah, congratulations to Bianca Belair as well. I completely forgot that she had done that. Before we move on to night 2, though, was there? We'll tackle this in night 2 because obviously we watched it earlier. But was there any Danhausen on night 1? If we just looked at night 1,
no. The only Danhausen that happened was just a
night 2
pre-show. Was a pre-show mention, like a little pre-show blimp video package thing. So.
Okay. Well, I know going into this on ESPN, I linked the clip in Discord. Danhausen showed up on ESPN and cursed Stephen A. Smith. So we'll see what happens with that. And he looked at him like he was an idiot. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I know people are very like, you either think Stephen A. Smith is entertaining or you absolutely hate Stephen A. Smith. So that's kind of a funny guy to do that to because of his personality and what people think of him. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens on that regard. But moving on to night 2 of WrestleMania, we watched it earlier. At least I watched a little bit of it. We started off with Obafemi defeating Brock Lesnar by pinfall. Paul Heyman came out with Lesnar, a singles match, and ended in less than what? I didn't even know this till now. Ended in less than 5 minutes. Holy crap! Brock Lesnar
I'm gonna be honest with you, it felt longer.
Jesus, less than 5 minutes. Brock Lesnar got squashed and jobbed on the way out, left his boots in the ring. Goodbye, see you later, and go be a family man, I guess. Holy crap, 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Jesus Christ. I was thinking it was like a 15-20 minute match. Oh my God, I literally just saw that for the first time.
Brock is not paid by the hour, buddy.
Apparently not, even when he loses and retires. Holy crap. Okay, well, match 2, that was a shocker. Match 2, which apparently everyone loved this match. Penta, we had a 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Penta, the current champion, retaining his belt in a 6-man ladder match over Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonald, Rusev. Oh my God, Rusev was booked. Oh my God, I said several podcast episodes ago, Rusev is the most underappreciated and underutilized wrestler in recent wrestling era. Like, what is going on with Rusev, whether it be WWE or AEW? But look, he finally got an actual spot on WrestleMania. There you go. And Rey Mysterio was the 6th guy, but Penta retrieves the belt at the ladder match. Everyone that saw this earlier said this was an amazing match, 15 minutes long, a far cry from that Lesnar match, abysmal. And I even made the comment, well, hell, they should have made this the main event. And as we would see later on, maybe it should have been. Match 3, Trick Williams defeating Sami Zayn, who is the U.S. champion, to win the U.S. title, 7 minutes. Match number 4, the Demon Finn Balor. I guess he brought the Demon back out again to beat Dominic Mysterio in a street fight, 10.5 minutes match there. Match 4. Semi-main event of WrestleMania, we saw Rhea Ripley defeating Jade Cargill to win the women's title in 10 minutes. That match felt actually longer. This was the match I said leading up on this podcast, leading up to WrestleMania, I was looking forward to the most. I did actually watch this, not the entire thing, but most of it. I guess it was what it was. I was hoping for something a little extra in it from what I saw, but I guess it was okay. I don't know. There was just something missing. Felt like they should have done something a little more. Obviously, the interference from Michin and B-Fab in there, and then Io Sky coming out to cover Rhea Ripley's back. I don't know. It just felt like it was by the script, by the numbers. Just go out, do your thing. Okay, clock in. All right, do our thing. Clock out. All right, match over. Go home. I don't know. There was something pizzazz missing out of this. That they should have capitalized on, it being WrestleMania and the biggest stage of them all. I mean, this is Rhea freaking Ripley going nose to nose with Jade freaking Cargill. These are two larger than life muscle mommy ladies that a casual fan are like, holy shit. There should have been more to this, and it just felt like a, I don't know. But that was your semi-main event, and then our main event of all of WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. Roman Reigns, this year's Royal Rumble winner, defeating CM Punk to become the World Heavyweight Champion again. Holy crap, this was 34 minutes long. Jesus. I have to admit, when this match started, I went to go take a shower and do other things because, But I know these other two guys watched it. Let them give their feelings on it. But I'm more than anything, I'm just shocked that Obafemi beat Lesnar in less than 5. What the hell, dude? Okay, I'll send it over to Raji. Okay,
Obafemi, Brock Lesnar. See, it was not a squash. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. It was not a squash. It was this is why it felt longer than what that timer shows, is because they started out with the test of strength, grappling, pushing each other. Oba had his thing. Brock took him to Suplex City, or where we made the joke, a Suplex Township or whatever. I think if he suplexed him like 5 times, but it wasn't a squash. It kind of was out of. It honestly came out of really nowhere. Like the finish came just abruptly out of nowhere. Obafemi even after he won, jumped up and like went to the refs like, oh my god, did I actually get the 3? And realized he won and was like, celebrating. And we kind of knew something was up because Brock Lesnar was staying down in the mat as Obafemi was celebrating, and then made his way literally all the way up the 75-yard ramp. And Brock was still laying down in the middle of the ring. And then music faded. We're still looking at Brock, and I was like, guys, he's retiring. He's retiring because I know the rumor was SummerSlam because SummerSlam's in Minneapolis, but he looked around, and once he started taking stuff off, we were watching this in Discord, waiting for the swerve. Swerve never came. And he was telling the crowd, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Gave Heyman a hug. Heyman was emotional, and then waved to the WWE logo, as Grim would say, on the way out. And we were just like, wow, that's it. That's a career for Brock Lesnar. Ladder match, absolutely loved it. I can't speak enough about this match. There were so many crazy spots. I think the craziest one was Rey Mysterio being launched at Rusev on the apron. They fell backwards into a ladder, and Rey Mysterio went face first into the announce table, and part of the ladder that broke. And Rusev, I think, scraped the back of his head on a rung because his head actually was in a very bad position. Trick Williams and Sami Zayn didn't feel like it went that long. It felt like a shorter match, and ended with obvious booking. Just I didn't think Trick would win, but whenever watching it, you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen. And one of the guys signified watching it, called the ending right away. And Tad, you better watch out. I think he's feeding CPW ideas to WWE. I think he's in the writers' room. The Demon
tell him
Finn
to give
Balor.
Raquel the Women's title already.
Right? Yeah. The Demon Finn Balor, his first time back first time as a demon since WrestleMania 39 when he fought Edge, and he gets to escape this year with no significant gashes that require 14 staples. I don't know if anybody remember the spot when Edge threw a ladder at Finn and it gashed him open on the head. He was bleeding profusely to the point we thought I think they had to stop it for a second to wipe his face. But it was a good match. I think you came in after this match, but at one point he rose up off the mat like he was a Resident Evil zombie. Finn Balor did. He was face down. His arms were positioned suddenly in a certain way, and all of a sudden he just rose up straight to his feet like a zombie. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen someone do in wrestling ring. My opinion, Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, I think the reason why there was missing pizzazz is because these two, it could be a work. I could be getting worked, brother. But I remember not too long ago, these two had a very bad interaction, very real life heat between these two, in my opinion. I think that's what the missing pizzazz is, because when you have real life heat like that, and one person is greener than the other and doesn't know how to keep it professional, it kind of takes away from the chemistry. So I don't think these two have chemistry as much as they look like they would, being both strong looking women. I think the chemistry is gone, and this is just a go through the motions, get through the match. Let's just take care of business and get out of here. And I agree with you. I think it was just missing all that, and definitely felt shorter than 10 minutes, in my opinion. And in the main event, it was a slow burn. I think Grim might agree. It felt like a slow burn the entire match. Probably why it went 34 minutes. Great false finishes. I think it ended great. Great storytelling. Roman being champion. And I actually want to bring something up because this was, I'll call this breaking news. On the post show, Reigns confirmed he is going to be a full-time world champion and said, all this part-time crap, we're going to fix that. Y'all better make some room because y'all going to see my ass all summer. And then proceeded to cut a promo on Obafemi saying, you did a big thing tonight by beating Brock Lesnar, but I've done that many times. So. And that is your WrestleMania Night 2 recap in my mind that I think was way better than Night 1.
All right, Grim, what you think?
I agree. Night 2 was definitely better. Yeah, that Oba Brock Lesnar match, like with Raji, it felt longer than that. It felt bigger than that too. We were kidding around it being like a 2-3 minute match, but obviously it was pretty much closer to 5. So, you know, the ladder match was really, really great. A lot of spots in that, including like, you know, throwing Rusev in there. Trick Williams winning his first title in WWE in terms of like the main shows. It was a weird setup for that as well. And they're like booing Sammy, who was supposed to be the face, and Trick was supposed to be the heel. I understand why. I was told during the match and everything. So Finn Balor coming back to, you know, with his old theme was awesome to hear. You know, Rhea and Jade, like with Raji, what he touched on a little bit, they just don't have that chemistry. I mean, they could eventually get it, but it just, yeah, I mean, it felt, that match felt longer than just 10 minutes and in the wrong ways. But I mean, both are great in the ring. It's just, it didn't really flow. And the main event, I feel like, was a little bit longer than it should have. But at the same time, too, it had to. I think also, I guess the CM Punk, I guess the finish was very similar to when Roman beat The Undertaker at Mania at one point. So with the second spear and everything. So, you know, overall, I mean, Night 2 was really, really good. A lot of cool moments, a lot of cool spots. I don't think any surprises on this night. So this was, you know, just Night 1 was the surprise night, and Night 2 just had Danhausen, you know, curse a random fan for no reason, and you know, get Miz to be cursed even more.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that to end it off. Danhausen did end up coming out. It was John Cena, who was the host of WrestleMania both nights. He came out and was telling everyone the attendance record. He gets interrupted by The Miz and Kit Will-Son, who come out together.
Hey, well done.
Yes, I remembered. And of course, they were ragging down John Cena. Here comes Danhausen's music. He comes out with a group of little people, and one of which I might actually know. We need to fact check that and see if he wasn't hired to be one of them, because I might actually have known one of them with my job. But came out with them, and some promos were exchanged, and then one of the little Hausens punched Kit Will-Son in the balls which I was a fan of. Love that. Always love seeing someone get punched in the balls, whether it's in real life or in a video game. And Kit Wilson rolls out of the ring, and then they all gang up on him. And then I think, I don't remember what happened to The Miz. Did Danhausen kick him?
Danhausen punched him in the balls too.
Oh, that's
Punched
right.
him balls and did the 5-knuckle eye poke.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then Danhausen punches The Miz in the balls, and then does a John Cena imitation. And then
If Danhausen did a split and then the punch in the balls like Johnny Cage, I would have marked out so much.
well, that wouldn't have been the first Mortal Kombat reference, considering Penta came out as Shao Kahn. So
yes, but still, that would have been hilarious.
it would have been, yes. Shaun the Shoe would have been, oh, nice. I got my WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
via Danhausen. All right, well, that was WrestleMania. Everything can calm down now. The winds can die down. WrestleMania season is now over. We'll see what happens moving forwards, whether they book WrestleMania next year, 2027 in Saudi Arabia or not. Are they not? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll let you know here on the podcast one way or the other, or wherever they announce it for next year. But yeah, that's our wrestling report. Also, real quick before we end off on that, I also wanted to point out that over on the TNA front, just to quickly scrape over it, we had brought to the attention of the podcast the whole finding the White Rabbit thing with Rosemary and the sequence of horror nightmare realm things with Father James Mitchell. You had Abyss in there. You had our good friend of the show and community, Jessica Havoc, show up as well. And of course, Ali, who was previously quote unquote killed kayfabe by Sue Young many years ago. And just to kind of put a bow on it, I guess, with TNA, I felt like it was really just, that was it. But I guess the whole thing was just to bring Ali back to quote unquote the real world, rather than just be kind of like stuck in the spirit realm after having quote unquote died kayfabe. And so now she's in the real world. She can wrestle now. She's, among us now. And I guess that was all of Rosemary's plan with the 7 deadly sins, to get Ali to come back. And that's what the whole deal was. And I was just like, wait, that's it? Okay. So, if I got anything wrong or anything, you want to add anything to that, you can go ahead, Raji or Graham. And if not, then we'll move on to our last segment.
Nope, nothing to add.
You're good.
Okay. Let's move on to the last segment of our podcast this week. We're going to do This Week in Croakitoad. And in last week, I should say, I streamed 3 times, which was one more day than I usually have been streaming. So yay. Monday we did.
What's your excuse going to be next week?
Well, today's Sunday. There isn't going to be an excuse because I plan on streaming all 6 days of the week, brother.
You going to stream right after this podcast?
Hell no. But I will tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, so
hold up. Never mind. You're going to touch on it. Never mind. Go ahead.
On Monday last week, I streamed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, April 13th, 14th, 15th. On Monday, we did 1 hour of Minecraft as part of a Twitch/Minecraft partnership stream. We played 1 hour of that, actually a little over an hour of that. It was actually a lot of fun. Really enjoyed getting back into Minecraft survival again. I brought it up during my live stream on Twitch at twitch.tv Croakitoad that when we defeated Minecraft together as one big community, people were logging in, people were logging out, and we were just doing survival to get to the Ender Dragon and beat Minecraft. Yes, you can actually beat Minecraft and get the credits to roll down the screen. That was one of my most cherished and fun moments of the Croakitoad community, doing that with everybody. And that kind of, my stream last Monday kind of brought me back to remembering that. And it was just a lot of fun. And it got me thinking maybe I should start a Minecraft server again, where you can switch it between survival and creative. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. But we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, I did 1 hour of Minecraft, 1+ hour for a Twitch partnership thing with collab with Minecraft. And then after that, we did the Power Wash Simulator 2 DLC, which was based and inspired on Adventure Time. It was the first DLC released for Power Wash Simulator 2. I played alongside, I believe it was Signified and Puerto Rican Chipmunk through, I believe, 5 or 6 levels. We got all the achievements on it. I got 100% achievements. Lots of fun. I've never been a viewer of Adventure Time, but playing through the levels, I can appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun, and the achievements were fun. It was a nice little cozy time. But that was my Monday stream, Minecraft and Power Wash, fun little cozy stream. On Tuesday night, we did the CPW Wrestling show post Twitch front page, and I'll tackle that in just a second. I'm just going to get to Wednesday real quick. And then on Wednesday, my last stream last week, we did a full-fledged achievements night where I played 4 different games for 100% achievements. All of them were just kind of cozy little games, most of them from Celestia Games, which do the Hidden Cats in X. In X means like Paris, London, Rio de Janeiro, whatever. So I did Hidden Cats in Spooky Village, Shy Cats Hidden Orchestra, Hidden Cats in Tokyo, and then another game that was not like the other, Drizzle Path Pictory, which I had no idea was actually a full franchise of games, which is basically a walking psychological simulator. And apparently Feats knew of that franchise, and he had no idea that that game had come out as part of that franchise. So I was glad to enlighten Feats to a new Drizzle Path game, a game I thought was just a one-off indie game that had easy achievements. So yeah, I knocked all those games out for my streaming this week in Croakitoad. And now that brings us to...
Wait.
Okay.
Before we move on, if you would, can you go back to that page you're just on?
Oh crap. Hold on.
Last week, Grim could not make the podcast because he was too busy being in the middle of a rave with glow sticks and orbs.
Whoops. Sorry about that. You got my... Yay. I don't know what you said, but I cheered with you on that.
Yeah, last week, Grim couldn't make the podcast because he was stuck in a rave. Glow sticks, the works.
Yes.
But he didn't get an opportunity to talk about your front page experience, because right there obviously it shows 171,163 total views on that VOD. And Grim did get to come on here and talk about it last week, and I just wanted to give him an opportunity to talk about it, and what he has to say to you about your front page experience and your achievement in this great achievement that you got to earn.
Okay, thanks, Grim. All right, moving on to the CPW report now. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Okay. No. Well, I'll kind of
way to put you on the spot, right?
Yeah.
I guess. No, I mean, first off, I would be lying if I didn't say, this should have happened a lot. It should have happened a lot sooner. For the amount of time that you put into not only like little projects like this, but the streaming and getting things organized, having, a list of games that you've completed, on this day kind of stuff where, you're updating the website, you're kind of keeping on tabs with now the team page and everything. Like I said, that was very long overdue. I'm very, very happy and very proud of you. Always have been, always will be. We've gone through a lot, and to finally see you get to where really you should have been before was a very, very touching moment. My wife and I were watching together, and we were kind of both smiling when you were on the main page, kind of doing your thing, because we're like, yes, this is what it was all for, and you've worked so hard to get there. I'm just very, very blessed and happy to have been a part of that. You've had this idea way back when we were coming up with the ideas for the other channels that you did and branching off, but the goal has always been the same with you, is trying to help streamers that may only get like a couple of viewers here and there to kind of get exposure, to kind of get that little boost to maybe get their ball rolling in a way, and try to be successful and try to do it as a community. So it was a very, very surreal night. It was a lot of fun, the wrestling part of it aside, just to have you there and for people to finally see what we see pretty much almost every day, the type of person that you are, and just again, it was just a moment that I'm glad that I was able to partake in, have a little fun with, and watch you, you know, finally hit the one major goal that you had when you started streaming is you know, to get up to that point, basically, where you can kind of showcase your talents to many more eyes than just your kind of normal crew. So I was very, very happy for you, man. And I still am. I'm still very, very happy that you had that experience. I'm sure that there will be plenty more experiences that we get to do when it comes to the front page again. So it's not a one-off, I'm sure. And I'm sure that Twitch saw that too. And they're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. Like, maybe we should have done this a lot sooner. So I get with guidelines and everything like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely cool to see many other people in the stream. Maybe they're, you know, weren't sure what to expect with someone like him, but with Tad, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I consider it, I said this on last week's podcast, but I consider it like a victory for all of us, because for a lot of us, we've been there from the early ages at different stages, you know, whether you're from the AOL era where we first came over to Justin.tv, figured out what live streaming was, and then the people who met me through Justin.tv, and then we went through that, and then the people that have met me through the Twitch era, through the different name restructures and stuff. And the longer you go back with me, I think the more of a victory it was for each of us to be able to overcome the things that we've overcome, ups and downs, and people going, leaving, and coming, and being able to not only become a Twitch partner earlier this year as a massive dub for us as a community and me as a streamer, but also to be featured on the front page of the be all end all. Like I said this last week, like what more can you possibly do as a aspiring video game streamer on Twitch than, like, there's no other higher point and peak you can get to than be planted on the front page of the entire website. So it's almost like mic drop, we did it, boys, you know, but we're just going to keep doing what we do like we've always done. We're just oftentimes on a grander stage than we usually are, kind of deal. So as much as it was a dub for me to sit back and go, man, here I am, I've got the check mark, I'm verified, and now I'm on the whole freaking front page of the live streaming website. Holy crap. After all the crap, you know, after all the years. And just as much as it was for me, I think it was for a lot of other people that have been by my side and supported me through all the years as well. So, and that's why I spent the first 2 hours of the 8-hour shift thanking everybody else, talking about everybody else. Not talking about myself, but talking about everybody else who helped along the way whenever they came along. So I just wanted to give my appreciation to everybody who helped me get to where I was and do it on the front page of the website. And now I try to continue that by doing that with the team page and trying to give back, because like I said, really for me, there's no other, there's nothing really higher for me to go than what I've done. And so now it's time for me to help other people try to climb that mountain and get up there too. I essentially compared it to like a game of playing literally the game peak. Like once you peaked the first time, then it's like, okay, cool, I did it. And then from then on, it's like trying to help others reach the peak and get out as well. That's kind of how I consider it right now. And now I tell people, like, what are my biggest goals and aspirations moving forwards? Not so much live streaming stuff anymore, just continuing to do what I do and do what I've always done, obviously, and not to say that I'm like half-assing it or anything, but I'm just always going to do what I've always done. Nothing's going to change there. But obviously playing more games and beating more games I still have not yet played. There's so many more out there that I've not even touched yet, from past, classic, and present. So that's obviously something. But really my biggest aspiration and goal right now is this podcast. I want to try to reach this podcast and get it out there. And seeing how many people responded back to the giveaway, the hashtag giveaways for that Pragmata giveaway, really opened my eyes. It was like, really, wow, that's really cool. We had 15 people, I know that's like small potatoes to a lot of people thinking, but to us, that's, or at least to me, that's like really awesome. That's 15 people that actually listen to one of these podcasts and listen to the giveaway section and actually followed the directions and posted on the right episode of the podcast to enter that giveaway. That's really awesome. And you have to start somewhere. And just like my live streaming throughout the years, we had humble beginnings and it was a slow start. But I think eventually, if you just keep doing what you're doing and you're motivated and you have your heart into it and you stay true to yourself and everything, and I think it'll pay off. And that's where I'm kind of moving towards on this podcast thing is, we're still figuring things out. Some of us have had experience with this on and off through the years, but I think for the first time, this is like a really serious, legitimate effort to try to garner some really big publicity and attention to this. And I think we're off to a great start so far. And again, just want to thank everyone else out there for listening and keeping track with us on the podcast. I know the length is still a little bit of an issue. I certainly don't help myself because I always see new trailers coming out like, ooh, this. I'm like a little kid in a Toys R Us. I'm like, ooh, this one. And, the podcast keeps staying within that realm and we're trying to get that down. And that's something we need to work on, especially me. But yeah, it's been fun and I really enjoy it. And thanks to everyone out there, Grem and Ash and everybody else out there that have supported me through the years. And yeah, it was a dub for me, but it was a dub for everybody else who's been with me over the years. So really proud to share that moment with everybody and do it on the front page. But with that being said, we're going to move over to the CPW report now, which is we're almost done. And last week in Croakitoad Pro Wrestling, we had our big return after the Twitch front page stream 2 weeks ago. And this past Tuesday was definitely more story related as we climb an inch closer to our WrestleMania, which would be WrestleMania 2, a la the big one 2, which is coming up for 7 days from Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, the last Tuesday of April. So we had very much story oriented stuff going on the show to build up to these matches heading into it, including some Money in the Bank qualifiers for our 8-person ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I'll just run through all these matches real quick and kind of give a tidbit of an asterisk of reasoning why, and maybe some storyline backstory to these matches as to why they happened. But the first match to kick off the show, we had Grem defeating Domino, 3.5 stars for our first Money in the Bank qualifier. Grem is obviously our first ever Croakitoad Pro Wrestling World Champion ever in history. And so he is qualified defeating the corporate champion Domino to be the first of 8 in that 8-person ladder match to hold that Money in the Bank briefcase. So he's in, he's got a shot at the big one too. And it's kind of funny that he's got earned this shot by defeating Domino, because it was kind of news heading into the Twitch front page that it was probably going to end up being Grem versus Thaddeus at the big one too. But I guess those plans have changed with Grem defeating Domino. Now he's a shoe-in and locked in for the Money in the Bank now. So I suppose Grem v Thaddeus will not be happening at the big one, but we'll see. For sure, he's confirmed, though. And then our second match, we saw the return of Miss Amy Pond with a new look, Doctor Who inspired, to take on Trainer Lindy, our resident Pokemon trainer of CPW, 3.5 stars. Trainer Lindy ending up with another loss, so she's 0-2 now since arriving in CPW on the season. And a big win for Miss Amy Pond with the Exterminate theme song. Nice to see some old names coming back and resurging on this massive roster we're going to have for the season of CPW. In our second match, our third match saw Helldiver Zach and Kitten teaming up to take on the Disco King and Adam Brown, 4.5 match star rating in a 2-on-2 tag match. This match was created because the Disco King defeated Kitten last week on the front page of Twitch, and then Adam Brown defeated Helldiver Zach on the front page of Twitch. So we had basically 2 matches from the previous week teamed up into one, and it was Helldiver Zach and Kitten getting the revenge win over their losses from the week before. And so they pick up the win and tag action there. Coming up next, we had Puppy defeating Disco Bunny, 4.5 stars. Of course, Disco Bunny is our current reigning Young Lions champion. She won the belt away from Puppy on the last pay-per-view that we had in CPW. And now Puppy's on the hunt, no pun intended, to get his belt back Of course, Disco Bunny defeated AJ Jacobs the week before on the Twitch front page. And of course, we know Puppy and AJ Jacobs are a tag team. So Puppy coming back a week later to get the big win over Disco Bunny, who is the champion, pretty much solidifies him as getting the next shot for the Young Lions Championship at the big one. I believe that match is actually confirmed already now anyway. So that will be happening, Puppy versus Disco Bunny for the Young Lions title. The next match saw Rock Hard Meat defeating Chain, Linky, and Aiden Gallagher in a four-way match. And this was booked by the general manager, Eric Bischoff, as being a #1 contendership for Shadow Chrono's International Championship. All four of these guys have a dog in the hunt for that belt in their own ways. Some of them actually former champions, but Rock Hard Meat actually walked out and did what he does best, and kind of like Obafemi at WrestleMania, just kind of smacked him around and won the match. Linky and Aiden Gallagher were too busy beating the crap out of each other to really pay attention to the match. Of course, they're engaged in their own rivalry right now, heading into the big one, and are actually already booked against one another in a very crazy stipulation match, which I'll run through real quick after I'm done with the results. Our next match saw Sean the Show Broderick defeating North Greenfield in singles action, 1-on-1 4-star match rating. Good to see Sean the Show Broderick back in action again, as well as North Greenfield. We hadn't seen either of them in a few weeks. After that, we saw Feats defeating Chalk, and this is a kind of a culmination of Buttons being the TV champion and Hype being the previous champion, and Buttons versus Hype needing to happen for a rematch for the belt, and therefore by extension we had Feats and Chalk. Of course, Buttons and Hype came out for Feats and Chalk in this match, but they let their attitudes and aggressions get the better of them, and they basically took over the singles match to where the referee said, both of you go to the back. So Hype and Buttons were both ejected to the backstage area, allowing Feats and Chalk to have their one-on-one match, and Feats ends up defeating Chalk, 3-star match rating. Next match saw Miles Wildmore. Actually, this wasn't even a match. We saw Lucinda and Necro in the backstage parking lot getting ready to come into the building to face, I just drew a blank, Honey and Demon in a rematch from the Twitch front page. But before they could actually get inside the building, they were assaulted from behind by Azarine and Miles Wildmore. This very crazy alliance between these two. Miles Wildmore, obviously, with a new look, looking more like a jester, a maniacal clown under the spell of Azarine. And these two are starting to give me vibes of like, almost like Hall and Nash, if you want to go 90s, just assaulting people at any time backstage. Or if you want to get more recent era, like kind of like the Miz and R-Truth, when they just come out and beat people up with baseball bats and they'd get arrested by police, just causing utter chaos in the backstage area. Azarine and Miles Wildmore just going on a tear here, and I hope people have eyes in the back of their head, because Azarine and Miles Wildmore might be coming after you next, and Lucinda and Necro felt the effects of that, unfortunately, so we didn't get to have that match, but it is now set for the big one too, between Lucinda and Necro taking on Honey and Demon. After that, we had our next Money in the Bank qualifier, which featured Raji taking on Asterial, the current reigning women's champion. 4-star matchup. Raji ends up winning, but not before Asterial picks him up to the top rope and hits a Riptide, a Rhea Ripley Riptide off the top rope onto the Big Biscuit. And we were thinking, holy crap, the women's champion is going to go to Money in the Bank to meet her husband at the big one too, but did not end up that way. Raji ends up getting the win at the end of it. 4-star match rating. And so now, so far, you may be noticing a theme here for Money in the Bank as it pertains to people who once were the world heavyweight champion so far. So Grem, first ever champion, Raji, former champion, both in Money in the Bank. Looking quite interesting. Next match after that, we saw Jess Moxie defeating Jen Von Lee. And this was a crazy one because before the match started, OGBradVickers came out and assaulted Jen Von Lee on the stage. And she's the hardcore being the hardcore champion she is, she said, I'll go ahead and continue the match. So she had that match with Jess Moxie, but ultimately just took too much damage from Brad Vickers. And Jess Moxie picks up a win over the champion and non-title. And then after the match, before anyone could really celebrate or do anything, here comes OGBradVickers again on the stage And Jen Von Lee goes after him up on the stage on the ramp area, and police had to come out. Literal police had to come out and split up OG Brad Vickers and Jen Von Lee. And now we apparently have set a hardcore title match with Jen Von Lee defending her belt against OG Brad Vickers, the previous champion, and of course Jess Moxley in a three-way, but we'll get to that in just a second. The next match after that saw Nathan Moore defeating Tad Peters, and that was an interesting one because you had Maggie Moore come out and sit at ringside in the chair and get a closer look. Of course, at some point, Tad just basically threw the match, and then Maggie came in and took his place. It was really weird. I think it more or less turned into a brawl, or maybe Nate actually beat Tad, and then Maggie came in right after. Not really sure how it. You never know with Tad Peters. He always bends the rules, but nevertheless, Nathan Moore got a clean result of Tad to begin with, and then Maggie Moore came in and assaulted Nathan Moore from behind, and that's leading up to this big match that we're going to have at the big one too, which will be for the first time ever. We've never seen a Bloodline rules match before. This will be a first time ever in CPW, where it will be Nate versus Tad with all the cast of characters included at ringside, having probably a Pier 6 brawl while this match is going on. And then after that, we had Cassidy Ryan, another former World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Jimbo Aberdeen in the third Money in the Bank qualifier. And the big boy from West Virginia making his second match appearance after losing to Zozakin on the Twitch front page. And he loses again, 3.5 match stars rating. Cassidy Ryan, another former world champion, is in Money in the Bank. So that's 3 previous world champions in Money in the Bank right now. How wild is that? All winning fair and square to get themselves in the match. And then after that, we had Power Wash Guy and Billy Hargrove making his return straight out of Stranger Things to team up to take on the World Tag Team Champions in a 5-star match. And the very strange, no pun intended, team of Power Wash Guy and Billy Hargrove actually picking up the win over Anubis Khan and Welsh Mosher, the Titans. They're not booked to take them on at the big one. They're actually taking on the previous champions, Kantot and Morzel. But I remember seeing this match going, wow, the only weakness that the Titans have, Anubis Khan and Welsh Mosher, who are the most devastating and dominating tag team I've seen in a long time, the only weakness they have are like the really tiny, small characters that you would never think would win. If it's like serious contenders, they take care of them, they dispose of them. But if it's like Power Wash Guy and Billy Hargrove, not to take anything away from them, but if it's characters like that, they're likely going to beat the Titans. I don't know if they just underestimate them or what, but I don't know. And then our semi-main event of the evening saw Vampy defeating Zozakin to win back the Kappa title. Of course, the week before, Zozakin debuted in CPW again, had like 6 matches, won all of them, including a 30-person Royal Rumble match, where we had the best RNG in the house coming out at number 30 and winning, but also became Kappa champion and defended it like 4 times. It was definitely the night of Zozakin, but he had to come back out here, semi-main event, to put his belt on the line that he won 7 days prior. And against the champion, he beat the champion from. And Vampy comes back out as part of the Asterial's Blood Triangle and wins her title belt back, giving all 3 members of the Blood Triangle title belts now. Asterial, obviously women's champion, Jen Von Lee, hardcore champion, and now Vampy, once again, Kappa champion. The Blood Triangle right now, the trio, the trifecta, looking very strong right now in CPW, heading into the big one, go home show. And of course, our main event of the evening was our last Money in the Bank qualifier, giving us the 4 out of 8 participants we need for the ladder match. And that was the return of Ryan Matthews defeating Azarain himself in the main event, 3-star match rating. And Ryan Matthews, who we hadn't seen in forever, definitely got a little bit of a I don't know, he was talking about he was overdosing on Ozempic or whatever, but definitely doesn't look as big as he used to, not as bulky, not as muscular, did something to himself, but definitely a little leaner, smaller, relying more on speed and quickness and more cruiserweight ability. And I guess it paid off for him because he defeated Azarain, and now he is the 4th person in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the big one. Ryan Matthews, can you imagine winning this thing? Going to be wild. But he also has a very interesting and kind of a scary look to him this time around. So we'll have to see what happens with Ryan Matthews. Before I run down the card, the pre-card that we have for the big one too right now, did any of you guys have anything to add to the results of last Tuesday's event or shall we just move on? Shall we move on?
No. I thought it was a pretty solid show going. Heading into the big one very quickly. I mean, it was funny because I feel like we did a podcast and we were like, oh, we're about like 5 weeks away from the big one. Got plenty, and all of a sudden it's like what, one more week and then it's the big one. So it's kind of crazy how quickly that went through. I know a lot of it though was creating and everything like that, but other than that, I'm kind of surprised to see how the Money in Bank is going to go. Blood Triangle, like you said, they have 3 titles, and ironically enough, not a tag title, which is I thought would be kind of what they would be maybe gunning for. But I mean, good on them. And other than that, pretty solid show. Can't wait for Tuesday.
All right, and I'll just go recap what the matches that we do know right now for the big one too. Of course, our main event of, I'll just call it WrestleMania 2, I guess. Our main event for WrestleMania 2 at CPW for the CPW World Heavyweight Championship, it will be the current reigning World Heavyweight Champion, Psycho T, defending his belt against this year's Royal Rumble Croaky Cabaret winner, and that is Spinny. We've seen these two collide in the ring and basically brawls lately, and Psycho T has definitely been like just blasting away a Spinny. So hopefully she comes with a game plan to take on Psycho T. It seems like ever since he won that world title, he's come up with even more powerful superpowers from the nightmare realm, and he is starting to become unstoppable as world champion. I hope I didn't jinx him there, but he is certainly looking big time with that title around his waist, and hopefully Spinny comes up with some kind of game plan to counter what he's been doing as champion. Because one thing's for sure, she's got that date set with him for that World Heavyweight title in the main event. And then, of course, the next match after that signed is the 8-person Money in the Bank ladder match. We already have Grem, Raji, Cassidy Ryan, and Ryan Matthews involved in the match. We're going to find out the last 4 qualifiers coming up on this Tuesday's show. And it's funny to look at this because we have 3 former champions, and the only person that has been the world champion that's not in consideration right now is Wizard Boz. So if he gets a qualifier this Tuesday and he wins, then that means every single world champion in CPW history will be in this Money in the Bank ladder match, and they will have won it by qualifying. So that's pretty wild. And then you have Ryan Matthews, and then you'll have 3 other people thrown in the mix as well, who we'll find out this Tuesday. After that, we've got a Bloodline Rules 30-minute Iron Street fight between Tad Peters and Nathan Moore. This is with the whole like Maggie Moore, Celestia, with John Chaos, Leo Reigns, and Rogue situation. And it's going to be a first ever Bloodline Rules match. We've never seen one in CPW before, so that should be really interesting. And for 30 minutes as well. The stipulations are pretty heavy here too. If Nathan Moore beats Tad, the collection is over, which means Celestia and Maggie Moore will therefore return back to normal, and their corruption will be over. However, if Tad Peters wins, he gets a world heavyweight title shot next month. So that is really big. And I really find it funny that it's going to be Tad reaping the benefits of this if he wins, and none of the scraps go to like Celestia or Maggie Moore, which is typical Tad Peters, that he's going to take credit for this solo. You would think that if that's like the stipulation he wants, he'd like spread it around, like they'd get it, like Celestia and Maggie would at least get a tag title shot or something. But nope, it's only Tad wanting what Tad wants, and that's typical Tad. So it's pretty wild to think that if Psycho T turns away Spinny for the world title next month, it will be Psycho T versus Tad Peters for the world heavyweight title if he can beat Nate in that Bloodline Rules match. However, if that doesn't happen, then Tad's all by his lonesome. He doesn't get his backup anymore from his little dolls collection. Then after that, we've got the international title belt on the line. Shadow Chrono, current champion, defending his belt against Rock Hard Meat, who won that right in that match last Tuesday. So they'll be going head to head there in a classic battle of high speed versus big man. Then we have the World Tag Team titles on the line. We've got the Titans, Anubis Khan, Welsh Mosher with Bacon Laura, their manager, to take on Mr. Cantot and Morzel, Vicious and Delicious with Lady Lavin in a tag team rematch. I would consider these two teams basically the top two teams in all of CPW right now. Of course, Morzel and Cantot are former World Tag Team champions in their own right. So, and they always seem to win when you least expect it. You're like, oh, it's just Cantot and Morzel. But then they end up winning. They always win the matches that mean something, and they always seem to be at the top of the list. So you never want to count out them. And I would not be surprised if they were actually able to beat the Titans at the big one. And then after that, we have the last chapter grudge match, which apparently is the last match that will be featured between Mr. Coke and Spike Ryan. There's an ongoing storyline that's been going on for a long time now, resulting in the Repo Man showing up and just all this trolling and shit posting and altered photos and everything between Mr. Coke, who's just basically targeted Spike Ryan for all this time, but it's all going to come to an end. This is the finale. What better place to do it than the big one? And apparently in this match, the loser will have to bring back and wear the Baby Rage mask for one entire month. So if Coke loses, he will be Baby Coke. And if Spike Ryan loses, he'll be Baby Spike. And that is the stipulation. But one thing's for sure, that feud will come to an end regardless, and someone will be walking away crying. After that, we have a new disqualification match between Linky taking on Aiden Gallagher, and another match with heavy stipulations here. If Aiden Gallagher wins, he gets the services of Connie for an entire month. But if Linky wins, Aiden Gallagher has to wear the Ganon pig mask for 1 month. So that's quite the difference in stipulations there. But Aiden Gallagher and Linky have been at each other's throats for a little bit while now, and this is leading up to this match with Connie right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of it. Of course, Connie is Linky's magical princess from the Hyrulean Kingdom, and Aiden Gallagher would love nothing more than to cause more disruption between the relationship between Linky and Connie. If he can win her services, there's no telling what he will do to further corrupt that relationship that they have there. Moving on, our next title match will be for the Twitch.tv television championship in a 15-minute time limit. We're going to have a triple threat match. It'll be Buttons defending her belt against Feats and the former champion Hype in a three-way for 15 minutes. So that means if the 15-minute time limit goes down to 0, that means Buttons will retain. However, if Feats or Hype can pin anybody else in the match, then they will win the belt. So very crazy match for Buttons, because she doesn't have to technically lose to lose her belt. But that's the same way Hype lost his belt, so I'm sure he's saying all's fair as he tries to get his belt back. And of course, Feats was the champion before either of them, so he would love to get his belt back. And after that, we've got a dumpster match. This is a rematch from the Twitch front page where we saw Monica Wake taking on Danny Adi. And Danny dropped a big promo last Tuesday calling Monica out and saying he's going to slap the pink out of her hair and then throw her in a dumpster, where she put him on the Twitch front page and sat on it like she was smiling and clapping and making fun of him. Wow. Harsh words from Danny Adi, but I get it. You know, no one wants to be thrown into a trash dumpster on the front page of Twitch, and he's going to try to do it back at her at the big one. And so we got a rematch in a dumpster. Very crazy. After that, we've got the Young Lions Championship. Of course, it's Disco Bunny, who is the champion. It will be defending her belt against Puppy, the former champion who won the belt, who lost the belt to Disco Bunny. And we will have Simon Crow and AJ Jacobs at ringside for this, just like we did in the last title match that these two had. And with Puppy's win over Disco Bunny last Tuesday, this just kind of solidified his shot here for the belt. After that, we got the Hardcore Championship up for grabs. It will be a triple threat Extreme Rules match. You've got that brutal, probably the most brutal feud we have going on right now in CPW, Jin Von Lee versus Brad Vickers. Of course, Brad Vickers is the former champion. He lost his belt in the Hell in a Cell match on the Twitch front page to Jin Von Lee, and has been, I don't want to say complaining, but airing his discretions ever since, saying that it was like a false win and he should have never lost. And after last Tuesday's brawl all over the place, it has led to this. And then Jess Moxley has just been thrown in the middle of this thing. And with Jess Moxley's win over the champion non-title last Tuesday, that kind of just put Jess Moxley in the middle of this thing. So I'm really interested to see how this match goes and how violent it's going to get, knowing just how at each other's throats. Jen Von Lee and Brad Vickers are right now in CPW. After that, we get the match that we were supposed to get last Tuesday, but thanks to Miles and Azarine, we never got it. It'll be Lucinda and Necro teaming up as one couple to take on Honey and Demon as the second couple in 2-on-2 Falls Count Anywhere match. The first match we had on the front page ended a little bit too early, and so we wanted to have them go at it again. We didn't get that chance last Tuesday, but we're going to get it at the big one. So it'll be good, fun to see two of the CPW couples go at it, teaming up to take on the other. After that, we've got a double debut Tomb Raider cage match between two of the newest ladies joining the CPW roster in their debut. It'll be Queen Savi taking on Q Raider one-on-one. Both of them are huge Tomb Raider fans. They're both of the Lara Croftian experience, and they will be debuting and colliding inside a cage, and putting their Tomb Raider climbing skills to use. And we'll see which one walks out the winner inside the steel cage on their first match ever in CPW. Always fun to see new debuts on the roster. And then we have the Kappa Championship on the line. Of course, it will be Vampy defending her new title against Zozakin, who had the title. This is the rubber match between the two. As we know, Zozakin won the first bout on the Twitch front page. Vampy won the match back last Tuesday. And I guess they're going to have this week off, I suppose, leading up to the big one where she's going to put the Kappa title on the line against Zozakin, this time in a ladder match. And we'll see who wins out once and for all between Vampy of the Blood Triangle and Zozakin, who wants his Kappa title back. And then after that, we will have for the first time ever, actually, the 20-person Domino Memorial Battle Rumble match. Not Battle Royal, but Battle Rumble match. And the winner will get a shot at the Twitch.tv television title as well. So there's actually a prize in store here for this one. Not just a namesake in a Battle Royal. But this is the first time we've done this. And actually, I'm actually surprised we didn't do this earlier. But this is just basically a tribute match to Domino, who we lost in our community. Everyone knows the story. But to kind of give him a memorial and kind of a play on the Andre the Giant WWE Rumble Battle Royal, we're going to do this 20-person. It kind of gives a lot of people another opportunity on the big one who aren't currently involved in any feuds or whatever to have something, and then also get an opportunity at a title shot. So why not? So we'll be having that for the first time ever. And of course, our pre-show match will be a four-way tornado tag team match. It will be the aforementioned Power Wash Guy and Billy Hargrove on the same team to take on Sneaky Sean and Agent CS of the Coke Syndicate. And they'll be taking on North Greenfield and Kadaj Valentine from the Rock Hard Meatballs of Rock Hard Meats team stable. And then they'll be taking on, I guess, the newly formed team of the Disco King and Adam Brown. We saw them as a tag team last Tuesday, and I guess they were impressive enough to have them team again on the pre-show. So that'll be a four-way tag team match to kick things off. Already, this is, I don't know. I already don't know how we're going to fit all of this in one night. Next Tuesday, because that's a lot of matches. We're probably going to have to start early. But so far, it's looking like a jam-packed card. All the titles, except for the women's title, are pretty much covered. So many feuds, rivalries happening across the land of CPW. Very exciting. I can't wait to see how some of these matches pan out and the stories going past this. But this is definitely an A-tier card that you would consider for like a WrestleMania type of event. But yeah, this looks really fun and amazing. Did any of you guys have anything to add to what we have so far for the big one or anything like that?
No, it's just like you said, we're probably gonna have to start early, and we'll probably have a couple more matches be added in. But yeah, like I said, I can't believe it's a week and 2 days away.
Yeah, for sure.
Start early and stay up late.
Just like the old days.
Yeah.
I have to say, I can't wait to see after this week's qualifiers who else is going to be added to the Money in the Bank, because that could really go a lot of different ways depending on who wins that. That should be a really fun one. And then there's just a lot of really stipulations that really can change the dynamic of the landscape of CPW a little bit, like with the Nathan Moore and Tad Peters stipulation, of course, Aiden Gallagher and Linky. There's some big stipulations there. And whoever wins the Domino Memorial Battle Royal gets a TV title shot. And there's just so much going on. It's really cool. But this Tuesday will be the go home show. We'll get some last minute storylines thrown in, maybe some continuation of some of the stuff that's already confirmed to get the hype level up for the big one too. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. All right, well, that'll wrap up the CPW report. We're going to end things off with literally the last thing we always do here on the podcast, and that is kind of go over the Croakitoad community a little bit. While I was gone, Coke actually accumulated a little bit of a list of what you guys were doing throughout the week, so I'm going to drop a few shout-outs to all you guys, fellow streamers on the Croakitoad stream team, and we'll just go down the list here. Lone Star was playing some Minecraft, some World of Warcraft, and SnowRunner. Its Pocket was playing some God of War and Resident Evil 4 Remake. Roxas997 was playing some Transformers Devastation and Resident Evil 2 Remake. Lucinda has been playing Watch Dogs for the first time ever in a first-time playthrough. R.E. Kitten was playing some Schedule 1 and Cult of the Lamb. Feats was speedrunning on some Dino Crisis as usual, playing more TRLEs, and also playing Monkey Games as part of a Twitch channel redemption that he has on his channel. Puerto Rican Chipmunk has been diving into the world of Resident Evil 2 Remake lately, getting scared by zombies. The Chain TV has also been diving into the world of Resident Evil 2 Remake and other Resident Evils. I guess he got tired of me saying that he always just plays Rune Factory, so he's been jumping into Resident Evil. Kudos to you. And also being scared of Mr. X, apparently. Necro was playing some Cult of the Lamb. Very nice. Monica Denizen was playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, Dead Letter Department, and also the brand new game. Oh, I need to do a shout out for this. Oh, that's right. We skipped over this trailer. I was going to watch it earlier and I completely forgot to add it. Okay, I'll save that for the very, very end. But Monica was also playing Ground Zero as well. Urkamus was playing some Split Fiction, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Resident Evil 2. We had Patrick's Raider playing some RE6, Ratchet and Clank, don't tell Roxas, and some Resident Evil Revelations 2. We had Zozokin playing some Pepper's Puzzles. Boy, try saying that 10 times fast. Agatha was playing lots of Resident Evil. Resident Evil Requiem, and Resident Evil 0. We had Burnsy playing some Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green and some Star Fox 64. Nice. Scorpio is jumping in once again with the mates playing some PUBG. We had Daniel McGee playing some Marvel Rivals. We had Cue the Stupidity playing some Artificial Nexus, Tomb Raider 4, and Tomb Raider 1 Remake. We had Liz the Lefty playing some Valheim. We had JoJo Spud 247 playing Last of Us Remastered. Lilu Horrors was playing some Resident Evil 3. Jin Von Lee was playing some the brand new Life is Strange game, Life is Strange Reunion. Lethal Company. Oh, I missed that. What the heck? I miss those Jin Von Lee Lethal Company days. And some Berglund Gnomes. So that was your Twitch Croakitoad stream team wrap up there. And we'll go ahead and actually, I'll do my shout out real quick. I just want to do I was going to do this at the beginning of the podcast and we were going to watch the trailer and I completely forgot, but I'll bookmark this. But I just want to do a shout out to a game called Ground Zero, which just came out. Let me just get this up so I have the facts here in front of me. I've actually already purchased this on the Xbox. But it is available on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. You can get it today. It is actually currently 15% off on Steam. It's only $15.20. Usually it's $18. But this game came out on April 16th, so a few days ago as of the recording of this podcast, made by Malformation Games. It's basically a play on the old school fixed camera angle horror games that we know and love from the PS1 days. It's got like the OG Resident Evil stuff in there. It's about an infection spreading across the city. You play as a chick with basically like an oxygen mask and a red beret. Wonder where she got that from. I played the full demo of this. It's available on my YouTube. But what really makes this game really cool, not only just going back and reliving the PS1 horror days, is the fact that it kind of hits a lot of us close to home, because one of the major characters of this game and voice actors of this game is our good friend Evan Saba, who is OGBradVickers. He was the original voice actor of OGBradVickers from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on the original PlayStation. The one, Jill, They're coming after Stars members. We're all gonna die. That's him. He is a main character, featured character in this game, and I believe he's also playable. And he's you can hear his voice all over the place in this game. But definitely check out Ground Zero by Malformation Games. Google it, add it to your wish list in the very least. And I, like I said, have purchased it on the Xbox already. I do plan on going for all the achievements on it and can't wait to dive into it. Looks like a lot of fun. And again, I played the demo and I had a fun time with it. So just wanted to drop that shout out of Ground Zero to everybody on the podcast. Go check it out. OGBradVickers is a good friend of the podcast in the community and a good dude, and glad to see him back in the realm of being a voice actor in video games. But yeah, I guess that leaves us with one last thing to do, and that is to reveal this week's streamer of the week. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to dive in and reveal our 8th streamer of the week, which this week will be hand clapping sound effects. The 8th annual streamer of the week for the Croakitoad stream team is going to be Disco Bunny, who's been streaming. Yeah. Who's been streaming like crazy lately, playing the brand new Pragmata. She's been playing Cthulhu, Cosmic Abyss, another brand new game. The Occultist, another new game. The Expanse, a Telltale series. And of course, Life is Strange Reunion, another new game. So she's been on that new game kick, but she plays all kinds of different stuff. Indie games, horror games, funny games. She calls herself the Pantsless Gamer because she does not wear pants. Of course, she doesn't show that on webcam, of course. Yeah, she's a good time, big supporter of mine through the years, and always one of my go-to streams that I usually raid when I'm done. She's usually streaming. So yeah, Disco Bunny, lots of streaming, has kind of went through kind of a rough patch off stream lately. So has been hitting it really hard on the streaming, which is good to see and get her motivation in. And now she's this week's streamer of the week as of 420. Well, that was Monday. So 419. You're a streamer of the week for Weed Week, Disco Bunny. How does that make you feel? But yeah, congratulations and great job everybody on the stream team, doing your thing and accomplishing your own goals that you want to do on Twitch. But we'll end it off here with a Twitch clip from Disco Bunny from 5 days ago. She was playing the I believe this is the brand new Life is Strange game. So we'll end it off on this clip and we'll pass it on.
A Polaroid camera out and taking pictures of shit. Nobody's questioning this. Oh, holy shit, there's a glitch right there. They're not tree branches, they're Blair Witch Project fucking wooden things. What the hell is going on?
All right, new glitch there. A funny little glitch there, graphical glitch on the new Life is Strange. They're floating Blair Witch symbols that aren't attached to anything. But yeah, definitely check out Disco Bunny. She's a good time. And congrats to Disco Bunny on being this week's streamer of the week. All right, that being said, I think that pretty much covers it. Is there anything that you guys want to add? I know this was a late one, but thanks, WrestleMania, I guess.
I mean, yeah. Glad to be back on the podcast after missing last week, but I guess everyone just stay radical and stay radical to each other.
Yeah.
You sound like I bet you're glad we're done because you sound like you're just about to pass out right now.
I'm getting there. It's kind of late, and I gotta open.
You're old.
So. I'm still awake though.
Well, you know what? You can email Triple H and say, like Roxas did, and say thank you for making WrestleMania go so late.
No, I'll just send a message to Roxas. I mean, he's friends with him anyway, so it's like, right. That'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
You need to shut up.
There he is. All right. Well, I'm going to let these guys go to bed, and actually, I'm going to do the same. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of Toad Talk Podcast. And remember, drop those hashtags in the comments starting on this very episode to enter the next giveaway for Bubsy 4D and any podcast leading up to that giveaway. We'll keep you posted at the beginning of each podcast to let you know the details, but you can start entering right now. So drop them down, and congrats to, who is it? F4 Spencer on winning Pragmata.
Yeah. at F4Spence, who I have confirmed is Fuse4Spence in the community.
Oh, all right. So we know the winner was Fuse4Spence on Twitch and Discord. So congratulations, Spence, on winning that. But yeah, have a good one, guys, and we'll catch you next week. And for episode 9 of Toad Talk, have a good one, everyone. Bye.